Hey guys, we have a band. Sometimes we have music on, sometimes we have
Hmm.
hosts, sometimes we have writers. This is Kings of Leon, who huge band, three appearances.
On
We had
SNL.
yeah,
Yep.
on we had Caleb, we had Jared, and the two representing the four. Eh,
Brothers are the Followill brothers and their
mhm,
cousin, and that is Kings of Leon. And they've done many albums, and they're incredible. They're
mm,
really sort of. I love their sound. They were. You'll find them so personable and so humble about how big they are. They're huge in the UK. We find out all about their asymmetrical childhood.
mhm.
Um, Father was a preacher and they're traveling around and they couldn't watch television and so forth and so on. But they're very, very, very interesting. And we talk about their new album, which just dropped, and they're going to play the Forum in LA. Maybe we'll be there.
Yeah, and they knew
And
everything about us and SNL. They knew all comedies. Their dad would only let them watch comedy.
Jared was quoting Red Rednecky, the redneck comedian. So they knew also about this podcast. They know how Spade
Oh
always goes.
yeah.
Let's go to the tape.
Let's look
So
at a
that
clip. Oh
so
yeah,
J-
they knew everything.
so that was
They've heard
very
everyone.
surprising and flattering. We've never had that. So
Mhm.
really, really enjoyed hanging out with them on this show.
All right, here they are, Kings of Leon. Oh, dude, I'm 3 days away from doing Cameo.
I love it. John Lovitz started to do Cameo, and then he said, "Yeah, well, I do get a piece of yours if I get you in." It's like one of those schemes. Anyway, how are you guys today? I
Yeah,
know
good
you've been
morning,
doing a
guys.
lot of press, and you're about to go out, so we want to make this one your most fun one and relaxed one, and
Mm.
whatever. That's my dream.
This is our most anticipated that we've ever done. Like we're very excited to be doing this. Oh yeah, so nervous. Huge,
Mm.
huge, huge
Tell your
fan.
voice. Um, anyway, why well you don't have a beard? Do you not have did something change?
Yeah, she's at home.
That was a good
That was
one.
a good one.
By the way, Dane, I have to get this out of the way. I was a little flummoxed because last time I played the Ryman, a couple of these goofballs were maybe going to come down, and then they
Hmm.
ran to a different show. Is that possible? Is that possible?
Yeah, that was well, I was kind of pressured by Nick Swartzen to come.
Oh, that's what it was. That fucking idiot.
Well,
Nick
he
Swartzen put so
knew
much
that I was
pressure.
coming. He knew that I was coming to yours, and he gets very jealous. So he's like, "Oh, I hear you're going to." I was like, "All right, I'll."
Oh my God. Yeah, he just texted me and I'm like, does he know we're doing this? Because I didn't tell him. And I'm like, I don't want him to go, those guys are my boys. Ask him this stupid shit. I'm like, I'm not doing anything you text me ever.
Yeah, don't tell him. He'll get.
No, but he's fine. He's like my child that has like learning disabilities.
Yeah, he's a sweet, sweet,
He's
sweet
about
child.
as sweet a human being as they come. There's equal, but no more than Nick. I would
He is a
say
nice
he
guy,
is.
but I was so annoyed that night. I go, oh my God, he must have thrown a temper tantrum. I go, Nick's show is like at 6. He does like a Twilight show or something. I'm like, what are you doing?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I do. Oh, do you? Yeah, believe me, I did. I used to do the Mirage with and Dana's done it, and it was a late show. It starts
Hated
at
it.
10. We hate it because love the crowd. Don't get me wrong, we're all fucking spoiled, obviously, all four of us. But when you get those late shows, and I'm trying to. I swear, I always think music can get away with a little more because if you guys have trouble, you can kind of grind it out. And if we don't do well, it's it every 10 seconds when we don't get a laugh. It just keeps reinforcing we're not doing well.
Yeah, that's rough. You notice for sure. I mean, if the crowd's bad, it's brutal up there. But yeah, you're right. We get to kind of just keep chugging along. But we'll turn down. We just turned down a show in Mexico because it doesn't matter if I say it, but like they had us going on stage at 11 p.m. and I looked it up. There's a time change. No thanks. We're like 2 hours behind going on stage at
Mhm.
1 a.m. I would be dead.
Well, in
It is tough
Vegas,
to do a
yeah,
show. Yeah.
it's horrible that the show you actually at the stage at that hotel at like 10:40. everyone's by the pool. It was 117 that week. So the point is, you come out in the audience, there's nothing. They're either past their drinking peak and asleep, or they're just burnt. And for a comedian, it's really hard. It's a tractor pull. You guys just crank it up.
Yeah, I'll be driving past like a pub when we're about to play some big place in London at like 5 p.m. and I'll look at like a plumber and I'll be like, if I could trade places just today.
Just today. We'll go right back to being rich tomorrow, but just today.
That's what I call the beauty of regular people doing regular things. And believe me, we were barely middle class, 5 kids, and you guys have kids now, but regular people doing regular things. I have siblings to do it, and they're really rooted in it. And when you're in show business, isn't there always this kind of little edge to life? I mean, it's just sort of this thing, or what do you call it? How do you guys deal with being who you are?
We grew up dirt poor, like the real life rednecky.
Like Joe Dirt Pearl.
You got both of them in there.
Rednecky. You ever fart? Yeah, I'm Rednecky, the redneck comedian. You ever fart so loud, dog 2 stayed away, go, what that?
You forgot to say, come and get some.
Come and get some. Oh, I forgot my catchphrase.
God damn.
Yeah, you ever crap so big you don't know gonna get down that turlet? Come and get some.
You don't even have to make sense. You got so big, got good.
It doesn't even matter. I met my sister only because mama took me down. Come and get some. That's it. I'm done. It's a trifecta. Go ahead.
I could just sit here and listen to you guys the whole time. We're the least famous people to ever be on this podcast. I've listened to every single one of them.
Oh, you have? I love it.
Yeah. What? Huge fan. And so just being on here, we don't even have to talk. We can just listen to you guys do your thing.
No, yeah, give me some credit, Dana. These guys,
so cool. That is
3 times on SNL. A lot of our comedians we have on, our friends, we're not on SNL, but we like the comedy so much we want them on. Like, you guys have knocked out 3. You had 3 good hosts. I think you had Emma Stone one time, and you had James Franco. What a blast, though, to get. It's gotta tell you, you're doing well if you keep getting invited back, because it's hard to even get on that show once for a band or a host, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had John Goodman was our 3rd.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your last one. Yeah.
Wow, he's talented.
Yeah.
Can I just say so about you guys? You actually listen to this podcast. You guys, I don't know. I want you to talk about this because they list you as alternative indie. You clearly are gigantic. And then you come out with this album now and it's even bigger, but you guys aren't celebrities. You're not doing it to be, you're not doing it to be cool. I think it's just who you are, but that gives you such a cool factor. Like you guys, this album is so fucking great. I mean, I listened to it all weekend. I'm not just saying that. If I was just trying to be nice, I'd go, some really good stuff on there, but, so anyway, I think that you guys are humble, about it, but the music's there, man. I mean, I played it for my wife, and she wasn't familiar, and she was just knocked out. So anyway, that's all I got. See you later.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
See you later.
Keep going. Okay, Ballerina Radio. Okay, do that. Do the creativity to keep that in there.
We're
some of the phrasing kind of Peter Gabriel-y.
We're stealing that from you, right?
What the doo-doo?
Yeah, wasn't that Opportunity Knocks? Is that where you're doing like
that? Oh no, don't say that. Oh no. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's a little earthquake. Oh no,
is there a quake?
No. When I go, I decide to uncancel myself. So I do every accent again. So it doesn't matter.
That's amazing.
It's back.
Yeah, we grew up on that stuff, man. We were kids. Like you guys are such big influences on our childhood. That's why Saturday Night Live was so huge for us, because our dad was a preacher and we couldn't watch movies or television or anything like that, but he was obsessed with Saturday Night Live. So every once in a while,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's weird. He would be.
So we get to watch that stuff. And I remember being a kid and watching, Chopping Broccoli and all that stuff and all your movies. The only thing he would sneak in were comedies. So we did see, that and Slate,
good.
Trapped in Paradise, and obviously
Trapped in Paradise is huge.
Oh yeah, and obviously
We'll get to you later.
You guys are
Tommy boy.
ridiculous. You guys are
That's fine.
blowing my minds. No one has mentioned Trapped in Paradise.
Really?
It's amazing.
Wow, Trapped in Paradise. That's it. Every year at Christmas, that's like one of the Christmas movies that's in the.
There's a
As a
there's a
punishment,
big
our
story
dad.
about it, but you know, I was doing my manager at the time and Mickey Rourke. That was who Alvin was.
Oh, the combo. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thank you for my bestest sweater.
Yeah.
That was
This sweater. You guys pay attention. It's like,
Yeah.
because you always also as a band and all the stuff you're doing. I mean, you love specifics when people say, "I love this part" or this lyric. I wrote down one that I really like. This is from Actual Daydreaming, your new album. Sounds like I could use a beating. I'm warming to the feeling.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's just such a great line.
Yeah, actually, it's I kind of wrote those lyrics. My wife had left town. She was going to Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know,
Oh.
like everyone's wives do.
She's a waitress. It's a big season up there.
It is. Bottle service. Yeah.
trying to make her jealous of life at home, and so I kind of like started talking about like home. It's nice and warm. Relationships are forming. Things are getting fixed. I start saying all this stuff to kind of make her jealous. But in the chorus, I kind of wrap it up by saying I could use a beating because it's all bullshit. But
Well,
Oh,
the
it's
whole
from
is
her.
great into some of the parts with lyrics, like, you know, there's maybe your meaning, there's how people are affected by them in the moment, and then there's just sort of a feeling. The power of words is which people were asking me about it. And I said, when I went to the Lincoln Memorial and I saw the Gettysburg Address and it was 100 feet high, and it brought me to tears. So I think the written word is so timeless, really, and great lyrics just stick with people. You don't know how they're digesting your songs in any given moment. You know.
yeah, that's awesome. For me, a lot of times the meaning of the song, I don't necessarily want to tell you because people take it and make it something so much greater. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
This is about me going to Jack in the Box. And you're like, oh.
Well, like chopping broccoli. She's a lady I know. If I didn't know her, she'd be the lady I didn't know. And my lady went
Yeah,
downtown
mysterious.
and she bought some broccoli and she brought it home and she's chopping broccoli. I can't explain what I was thinking when I wrote
No,
that.
there's a lot going on
In
there.
the 50s, that would have been a huge hit. Like, massive.
Very simple. Yeah.
I
in the
have a
50s.
cat at home. His name's Coco. And like I give him all these nicknames, Mocha Choca Latte, all this stuff. Well, anyways, he's gotten down to where I just call him Mocha Lee. For some reason.
Mhm.
But
Perfect.
every day I walk in, I sing Chopping Mocha Lee.
Ah.
It's kind of
I have a quick question. I drifted off when you said you wrote the Gettysburg Address, but when
that was
Um,
AB
oh.
AB Lincoln or
oh, okay.
yeah.
But I want you to walk me through a little bit of you guys have obviously done well, and the question is something about like how long does it take to get ahead because you've been very successful, but if you're a regular band, and I always hear about these record contracts, is it true that we don't have to say specific companies, but is it a general uh, a rule that they have sort of they give you money, but you sort of give it back, and it's very hard to get ahead money wise, even if you do pretty well?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's probably similar in the comedy world that you make all of your money from playing shows, basically. But yeah,
Okay.
they give you money up front, and then you just have to recoup that on sales. And so if you don't recoup it, I don't know. We really don't even ask questions. That's why we're all broke.
Does it roll to the next one? I heard I have a whole chart behind
so we
me,
were
but that's what I heard. And if you lose it, then you owe a little more the next time.
yeah. Well, we before we got a record deal, we got a lawyer. So we kind of
Oh, smart.
we were ahead of that. But we also signed our record deal right before the new record deal policies came in. Nowadays, you don't get anything. They come take your merch, they take touring,
Your children.
they take everything. With us, it's like, but they do say like, hey, here's $1 million record deal. It's like, all right,
That's what sounds
and
good.
here's
Yeah.
$1 million to go make your first record.
Yeah.
And then you go, where's all the money? It's like, oh, you're paying back those $2 million that they gave you. It's like
Mhm.
they didn't give us anything.
Yeah.
You just basically just kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit. But yeah, I feel bad for young bands these days. I don't recommend it.
Being in a band.
Unless you just want to have fun, or if
How to make money.
yeah.
Is it possible in today's world or is it more probable to go to TikTok or go to somewhere else and just try to do it on your own and just hope something happens?
Yeah, I mean, record labels are trying to do that. Nobody knows what they're doing anymore. They're trying to get TikTok clips, a 15-second song that you can slow down and reverb, and it takes off on TikToks and gets like a million views.
Before this album, we signed with a new record label, and like one of their things at the beginning was like, "We think you guys should be on TikTok." And we're
Yeah.
like, "Isn't it a little late? Like, we should TikTok." We started a TikTok, started like,
Awesome.
get a little
Okay.
team going, and then like right before the music came out, they're like, "Oh yeah, that you can't put your music on it." And we're like, "What do you mean?"
Oh no.
Like,
What do you
"Oh
mean?
yeah, they're cutting down." So like,
No, Universal
we're like,
had a
"So you just
lawsuit.
want us to like show us cooking at the house and shit?" Like,
Oh,
no music. That's kind of our thing.
We can use other people's
yeah.
music who are not signed to Universal. So we got a lot of other bands pretty famous.
Oh my God, you can lay in other stuff.
Mhm.
That happened because I'm on TikTok, sadly, and I was putting a song underneath, and they took it out later, right, Heather? They took some song out, and I saw an old one of mine, and it was some Joe Dirt thing, and they took the song out from under it. And I was like, so it's just dead silent. I go, what happened here? But that must have been what happened is they go through and say no more, even though I would think it would help. I was at the goddamn Venetian this weekend in Vegas, and the Sphere had Grateful Dead. And the best advertising for them is TikTok clips of people showing the concert. And it's like an ad, and people go, oh shit. I even saw John Mayer had one. I go, oh, that looks cool as shit. I wouldn't have been aware of it. I would have just skimmed over it, but that helps. I think you too said no filming inside. And I thought, God, you should do it because people get curious and they want to go see it. That's kind of a different subject.
Everybody's breaking that rule. I've seen
Yeah.
a million videos from inside the Sphere for YouTube, but maybe those are people in the box,
But
like
nobody's filming the band. They're like, "Look at the fish above us." Whoa.
Oh yeah, that's right. Believe me, I said it was a great show. And if you're super bored, worst case scenario, watch the band.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the truth. Is there's almost too much going on because it's so big above your head, and then you look down and there's 4 microscopic people, and I'm like, is that them? But you're used to just seeing that. How many are in your band? I'm pretty sure there's 9. No, there's 15.
we cut it
4.
down to 12. No, there's 4 like actual, that sounds bad, actual, but like 4 members that
Four
started the band.
well-paid.
4 that fit on the album cover that have the last name.
Yes, exactly.
And then 2 guys who are on stage with us.
Did you ever think of calling it Follow Will?
Yes.
Yeah, it was called. Trust me, when we first got the record deal, it was a lot of Follow Brothers, Follow just our names.
It was Follow Will for a second.
When we said Kings of Leon, they were like, "No, that's not going to work."
But
It sounds good in hindsight, though. It's cooler. Follow Will might be the way you guys look, maybe a jug band.
yeah, the reason why I think we didn't
You
go
like our
with
jugs?
that was there's another band from Oklahoma of brothers who went their last name of Hanson. So it's kind of like
Bacon Brothers.
Yeah.
That's the only one I'm aware of right now.
Hanson's still hitting it, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. They're still bopping across the USA.
They better open with bop and close with it and do it a couple times in the middle. Go ahead.
Have either of you ever gotten the other one in a headlock right before or right after the show?
Probably. It's been a lot of fights.
Brother stuff.
Yeah.
We've had fights. I don't know if it was right before a show.
Nothing playfully.
Definitely after.
Only angrily.
We've had fist fights after shows before.
Because I had brothers
on camera.
I had my last fist fight with my brother Scott, probably at 22, full blown fist fight.
Wow.
But we laid the arms down after that. But that's the thing I'm curious about, your cousin and the brothers out there together. And I don't know, it's a lot of together. You guys must have a lot of simpatico
Yeah,
personality traits.
we don't fight at all anymore, but we did for a while. There were a few really big, fun ones.
Yeah, we gave it up about 6 months back.
Yeah, it's not all the Partridge Family, I'm sure. I mean, you're on a bus, you're stuffed together, you're in backstage, and I've done it with friends, and you're just together all the time, of course, and your family. So, uh, I'm sure it can lead to, and also you pepper in fame, money, feeling important. I'm not saying that's just you guys, that's me, that's anybody that goes through any sort of stuff like that. You definitely get a little different if you don't check yourself, and it's just hard to keep everything cool because the greater good is to keep the band together and keep everyone happy and just we're lucky here. Let's just keep it going.
Yeah, and you're also kind of sharing a high that no one understands. So even like after the tour, when you get back home, obviously I don't want to compare it to like what happens with military, but like when you come home, it's kind of like you look at your family and you're like, you don't get it. Like it takes like a minute to go like, oh yeah, I take out the trash. I'm the one that,
I
you
don't.
have
Yeah.
to like put yourself back into reality.
Reality.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure your family and your wives know about it, but the illusion of show business, your job is when you guys come out there, you're having a blast, you're fluffed and folded, you're in tune, and you're kicking ass. And there's so
Yeah.
much that goes into it that, people would think I was on vacation. I'd say, well, I'm playing Chicago. Did you see the city? Did you go everywhere? No, I was in my hotel room, resting, prepping, going over my act,
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's not a complaint, but it is a show, and you want people to think you just showed up and just kicked ass.
Yeah, yeah. You get people who also think that you're on vacation too, and so like they'll come like, "Hey, man, you're playing Cincinnati. I'm going to come to that show." Like you can definitely come, but I promise you, I'm going to be asleep by 10. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You got to save yourself for the next night or next 50 nights.
Yeah, totally. Especially with the amount of vodka we're drinking.
The people get mad if you're not ready because anywhere I go and they're like, okay, first of all, I know a great restaurant. I'm like, I'm gonna eat early and get to the show. I can't and I can't get all wasted and I can't do this. And they're like, what a fucking drag, dude. I'm gonna do a little show and tell with
Who
my
are
buddies.
these friends?
They're not really friends.
I
They're
played
just
Anaheim. We're
contest
going to hit
winners.
Disneyland at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
We're gonna
exactly.
do the
They go,
Matterhorn around 9. When do you go on, man? You can run right
it's
after.
about 2 hours out of town, but you definitely have to check out this barbecue spot. I'm like, well,
Dude, Splash Mountain, man. We're going to hit it 10 times. When's your show?
you might go to the show soaking wet. It's worth it. You got to do
You're
it.
going to be
It's already done.
scalded, but
Now, what about you guys doing a Kings of Leon tequila? Because the celebs are
Yeah,
all
where is
doing
it?
that.
we did a killer bourbon.
No,
You did?
it's a rye.
Well, we did a bourbon and a rye. We did like a 18-year bourbon, 5 and 9-year rye. They were real like small amount of them. You didn't hear about it because it was super, super small and they sold out really quick.
Yeah, unlike
Mhm.
other people, we did it for no money. We did.
Good job.
I'm just joking. We got
Good job.
behind. And
Church Lady Chardonnay may be coming down the pike.
Come on.
God, I would drink that.
That's
amazing.
my kind of communion right there.
How did your dad take to that character? Because my people, religious people I know, and I have a very, very Irish Catholic mother-in-law and Baptists, they all loved it. I was kind of surprised, but
It was a hit. Well, see, we didn't have television, so SNL that we watched was like go to the video store and come back with the best of Dana,
Oh,
okay.
of this guy, the best of that.
yeah.
So we would go on like a full Dana Carvey stretch, and we would, have all the things. And then you go to the next one and have all the things. So it was Church Lady was definitely a big part of that, and I don't think there was any like sacrilegious,
It wasn't what it was about. I mean, it really was about me noticing as a kid that the women behind the punch bowl are sort of the backbone of the church. It happened to be a Lutheran church, and our parents were not super devout. So sometimes we'd miss a couple Sundays and then we'd go get on our church pants and go. And then you felt a little bit of a judgment.
Yeah.
Wow. Here we are again. We're Johnny come Sundays.
we
Go ahead.
we oddly enough we went to our grandmother's funeral, and it was like a lot of people that we kind of grew up with in the church,
Mhm.
Preacher definitely he took his liberties when he had the microphone. It was like, can you believe there are people out there that think they can go and sing rock and roll music and make money and he just like ripped us and we're all sitting like
Oh,
crying at our grandmother's funeral. It's like, oh, it's us now.
I
Okay.
took my 50 out of the collection plate.
yeah. Give me that cracker.
But yeah, we feel that judgment. So
Did you ever have to sing? Was there a choir?
yeah, that's where we learned everything that we do. Yeah. Started with drums. My Nathan was the drummer in church until he would get
Mhm.
tired, and then I was the backup. And then like little singing opportunities would pop up. Like our mom and dad would just be like, "Why don't you sing one?" And it was pretty obvious early on that we were going to little tiny churches throughout America, and we were fairly talented. So when we sang, it was kind of like I don't want to say show-stopping moment, but it definitely it was like one of those where everyone would be like, "Okay, these guys are pretty good."
There were tears.
Yeah, we would cry every time we had to sing.
It's really amazing. This is in the 80s and you're in a car driving around. You're kind of mostly homeschooled and your dad's a preacher and you go come in town, you leave town. I mean, it's really an interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of a gigantic rock band with that history. How does that inform you guys? I mean,
We're weirdos, man. Like honest, it made us weird,
Yeah.
but it's just the only thing I know. I grew up doing that. But also, I mean, I guess it makes us more capable of traveling a lot and doing kind of what we do now and just living out of a suitcase.
We also
It's
saw
different though.
we also saw our dad work a room,
Hmm.
a
oh,
different room, different setting. I mean, we're from Memphis, Tennessee, so a lot of the times the churches that we would be preaching at, we'd be the only white family in the church.
oh
Like he
boy.
would be working that room, and then the next week we'd be in Oklahoma with like all these straight laced, and then he'd be working that room. And so like you'd see kind of like sometimes you got to bring a little different juice to this thing and to that thing. So now I feel like that's the one thing that I still kind of take from it and go like, okay, this is tonight we got to lean into this. We're playing Sex on Fire tonight at least one time.
Yeah.
The crowd's not here for the B-sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that. Oh, sorry, just the influence of that. Like Sam Kinison famously kind of fashioned himself his stand-up style after preachers. And the thing going over a lot of your music this weekend, it's a lot of it's just really emotional. Not even sure why. It's not always a blues song, but all of it has an emotional tilt to it. And I don't know if that's just your talent or what it's affecting. The
Yeah,
chord changes, the minor changes, the breaking it down, the vocal rhythm. I don't know. It's just emotional.
yeah. Musically, obviously you're always evolving. You're always trying to learn something new and then show it off. And sometimes you're not.
Mhm.
Your skill level isn't good enough to where you should be trying to show it off just yet. You just got to work on it a little bit. But as far as like the emotional undertone of everything, I do think that also comes from us traveling our whole lives. And from a very early age, we realized that if we made a friend, we were going to have to say goodbye and probably never see them again because we were always on the move. So you kind of
Mm.
start to have this like hardened thing, which also made our relationship, our bond so strong because it's like we're the only people that we're going to know forever. Like we're not going to
Mm.
have those high school friends that we can call up and be like, hey, let's go get a beer.
Mm.
Let's go. So I think there's always that, thing in the song that's you're not asking for love, but you're just kind of like trying to be like, hey, I'm over here, that kind of thing.
And I think the minimalism, the bass lines and sometimes the guitar solo, refrains, the main melody. I mean, I just always love that sound, when the band's really playing just together. I mean, obviously nobody's going off on a flight of fancy. It's one, I mean, you're a collective sound and it's very affecting.
Thank you. Yeah, we all learned to play together, really. I mean, I'd never played bass before the band and had a month to learn before we did the first EP. Matt was decent. You know, Nathan played drums in church, but wasn't necessarily a real drummer. Caleb could always sing well.
I bought my guitar the same day he bought his bass, and we had gone to New York and met with the record label that we ended up signing with, and they gave us a Led Zeppelin box set. And full disclosure,
We hated it. No, I'm kidding.
we didn't even know Led Zeppelin at the time, and this is
Wow.
like not that long ago. But it was like,
Mhm.
all right, well, let's try to play like these guys. We didn't realize they were so amazing. But like me and Jared, I had my guitar, he had his bass, and we're listening to Led Zeppelin, and that's how we're kind of coming up with stuff. And obviously our skill level was not there, but we just kind of along the way, it's like whatever we learned, it's like, all right, well, let's make a song about this, and then the next thing is like, well, let's make one about this.
Mhm.
That's hysterical. Learning to Led Zeppelin and not knowing
So you
their
weren't
Led-
as good as Jimmy Page.
or John Bonham or one of the most.
Almost.
That is-
Almost. It took us a few months to get there.
Well,
to pass them up.
who musically, when you're little kids, you must have had AM radio driving around. We did in the 60s, in my case. Who floated your boat? I mean, who did you kind of go, oh, I like that? Or, must have been some exposure.
It would have to be like tame music. So a lot of 50s and
Yeah, I grew up on that kind of stuff. My uncle was he was the teacher at the school that we went to for 1 year, and he would drive me to and from school, and it was always the oldie station. And there'd be little games like, I bet you $1 they play the Rolling Stones before they play Tom Petty. And so like
Right.
these little games,
Oh,
and
cool.
before you know it, you're building up like, these influences.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was Tommy James and the Shondells. First time I heard Crimson and Clover that I was like,
Oh,
okay, that
That
moment, I was like, I want to play music.
see that's making me nervous right now, because when I was in junior high, that song would come on for the dance in the gym, and I was a wallflower extraordinaire, girl I liked, and thinking, will I try to slow dance with her? But that was
Yeah.
Crimson
Yeah. Bow, wow, wow, wow,
And then he told me what the song was about, and I was like, whoa. So
What is it about?
yeah, what's it about?
apparently
Crimson and Clover.
taking a girl's virginity in the grass,
Excuse me?
allegedly.
That's what I heard
Go
too.
talk to Tommy. I didn't write it.
But I heard it from a pervert over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off.
It did make me think like, hey, you can write songs about your own thing and not let people know what it's about. And that was
Ooh.
inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm.
It
Right.
took me this long to figure that one out.
I thought I didn't know what Day Tripper meant by the Beatles, that it was a rich woman saying to the guy, you can be my driver. It was her voice. It wasn't one of the Beatles getting rich and going, hey, you drive my car.
Well, it wasn't Drive My Car, was it Day Tripper?
Oh,
Baby,
drive
you
my
can
car. Yeah, drive my car is secretly that. But anyway, there's so much you could do in rock and lyrics and stuff. Do you guys want to talk about some of your songs on your album, or Kid Harpoon?
We can. We want to talk about Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, we've been doing
Yeah.
homework. I've been watching Spade in America all morning on YouTube,
You're cramming?
trying to get some stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
in case we're gonna quiz
We
you,
can turn
yeah.
the tables. The interviewer becomes interviewed.
We went pretty heavy on the Dana Carvey stuff. We got a lot of Spade stuff.
No, it's okay.
No,
I
don't
understand
worry.
it.
We got your movies. We got them all locked in.
When you did SNL, was it fun to, I guess, first time, were you 2008? Maybe it says. So were there people there that you knew or you weren't as familiar with? So you kind of just get thrown into SNL when you're the music. And do you get to have any fun?
Nerve
yeah.
City.
At that point in our career, it didn't matter what we were doing. We were going to have fun with it, and probably be a little bit irresponsible. But SNL, like I say, it meant so much to us. When I was a kid, all I wanted was to be on SNL. I never imagined to be playing music, but like it was like SNL, that was the thing.
Yeah.
The first time we got the call, it's like, hey, they want you on Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God.
And we were just like, no,
What was the song that you led with? Was that Use Somebody or was it
Well, I think we did Sex on Fire and Use Somebody. And on
Oh, you did them both. Holy shit.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
album. Same album.
I think Sex on Fire, I think it was that one. I messed up so bad in Dress that we almost had to stop playing, but they just kept going.
Oh man.
And I just remember going backstage and I was like, I swear to God, that won't happen. That's not going to happen live.
Was it Nerves?
Oh, yeah. And I took a shot of tequila and Caleb looked at me and was like, hey, don't get too cocky. And I was like, not, I swear to God, it won't happen. And then we played and it went over decently. And then we were at the after party, baby.
Does it show a bump when you do those?
Does
Back then, yeah. 2008, I'm sure.
The bump, is that like the lead, like the picture of it? Is that?
That's like
the,
more
no, does it show a
CDs.
bump in your sales?
I'm sure we don't they don't tell us that stuff.
I mean, to be
Or
honest,
did you do a bump? Is that what you were thinking?
that's what got me through.
at that point, we first of all, we had 3 albums out that had all
Mhm.
done decent,
Mhm.
big in the UK and Europe, and then we'd come home and it wasn't like kind of doing the same thing here.
You're like, hey, we're back.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mom.
Anything?
Yeah. But SNL, we had Sex on Fire, Use Somebody, so things were cooking with gas. At that point, we didn't realize if it was like a big thing, or we assumed every song was going to be that big after that. And then, nope. When we got invited back to SNL, the next 2 times, I feel like we were like, oh yeah, this is fun. But then we realized like, oh, that was kind of special, that first one.
Yeah, it could have been the last one. Have we met Lorne before the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably how we got on because we had always wanted to be on there. And then we played a private party in St. Bart. And before
Funny.
yeah, before the show, we were on a big boat and it was a party, a big art dealer or something like that. And celebrities galore. All we wanted to talk to was Lauren. We're like, oh my.
Of course. You're like, then we all found ourselves on a rocket ship. And it was a pretty major party.
So you'll come on the show.
And whenever you want.
There'll be a rehearsal on Thursday.
Let's see, it was us and him and Penny Marshall. She was on there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I just remember Lauren, like we were talking about, I think we brought up Three Amigos or something.
We were telling him that whole spiel about how like he was probably asked us about our childhood because he'd heard about it. We were like, we couldn't watch stuff, but our dad would sneak in videos every once in a while.
He pointed to like a little cluster of lights on a rock somewhere, and he's like, yes, me and Steve, we wrote Three Amigos right there. And then he was
I love it. I love
we
it.
wrote My Little Buttercup in like 30 minutes or something.
We were like, what? We didn't even know
Oh
he
my
wrote
God.
it. We were just talking about like movies that he was involved with, had no idea he wrote it. And then the best Lauren ever, he said, yeah, Steve is one of the funniest humans on the planet. When Steve drinks vodka, I think he is the funniest human on the planet.
Right.
That's a great one.
He did
That's a
break
great
it down.
one.
If Steve has, if he goes to the third drink, then this person comes out just like just really funny.
He moves to number 1 out of 900.
Yes.
Oh,
the 900.
They know 900.
You know all of our stuff. Good Lord, I'm running out of shtick.
We're out of tricks.
When we talk about
Did you? Well, let me ask if they saw the Beatles. Is that intriguing to watch the Beatles put together those albums on Apple TV? Did you
mean
see
Let
any
It
of that?
Be, the documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so embarrassing, but I didn't see it. I mean,
I think you guys would love it.
I know I
think it's just
would.
cool.
I've seen clips of it, and it's mind blowing the access that they have. I think. I mean, as far as
yeah, it's just wall to wall,
and it's just sitting around this footage, and you go to see them come up with a song and not get it the way you hear it, and they're like, it's faster, it's slower, or they can't get a line, and you're going, oh my God, I could tell you, this is how you do it. This is the best way. But then you see how it could be so many different ways, and you see how any band is sitting there, and one person in the band could say, I think this should be slower.
Yeah.
Remember when Revolution came out slower? You're gonna have and you go, that could have been the single.
Totally.
Yep.
and someone won that battle and said, no, the faster, that must happen all the
But
time.
any interpretation of those songs probably would have been amazing and
A
incredible.
monster.
If they did it fast or slow or, different keys.
And whenever you start writing something like together, it's always like the one little thing that someone does, and you're like, I don't know, man. I have my heart set on this, and you kind of go like, all right, let's compromise and we do that, and then that ends up being the greatest compromise, or you end up going like, see, told you.
Oh, it's so tough. It doesn't work.
That's the thing. I mean, with comedians, normally we're sitting around writing with your peers, basically, or David or whoever. And then there's usually an agreement when the idea comes up. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. And I just wonder when you guys finish, let's just take Sex on Fire, because it's this, this thing. It's its own ecosystem. Such a brilliant piece of music. And you kind of get the rough draft or 99% finish. You go back in the control booth. You're all in there, right? And you hear it for the first time, or there's a sense, did you get chills? Did you just go, okay, was everyone going, this is a great song, or did you have disagreements?
No, I didn't even want it to go on the album. I thought
I love it.
I take back everything I just said.
He voted for B-side on that one.
Yeah, but it was it was doing its thing. The song was coming. I had written some lyrics. I said the Sex on Fire thing, and a lot of times it's kind of just like a little throwaway, and you don't know it's going to stick. But then we had gotten it to a point where it's like, all right, people were kind of enjoying it, and then Jared and Matt, they found like a little drum loop thing that when we put it with the song, it was like, okay, now it makes sense.
It lays at the bottom of it's like kind of under the whole track, and you can't really hear it, but it just adds a dancey thing to it. And it's got this kind of droney dancey thing that, I mean, people don't even really probably know that it's on the song, but.
So it's this wash underneath gives it this urgency and also sort of this.
Well, it goes like a little dun, 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 dun. It adds beat to it. Before that, it was kind of a little confused punk rock song about sex that was kind of like, But then when you put the dance to it, it's like, oh, it's about sex. And then it made.
Right. And you can't really, I don't know. I mean, I think Kiss, Gene Simmons, so you got to get an anthem. This is the early days. Get an anthem, and they did Party All Day or Rock and Roll All Night, whatever.
All night.
So
party every day.
This Sex is on Fire, just for whatever reason you couldn't predict it, but it became sort of anthemy.
You can't predict that stuff. I mean, we can go anywhere in the world. I don't care which corner of the world it is. You start just that little guitar part, but everyone's like, oh yeah, I know this.
Yeah.
And it actually made it on a list of like best guitar parts, and I'm by far the worst guitar player in the band. And Matthew's like skilled, and it's me going, and I made the list like right under Jimmy Page and Matthew's like, what the hell? I'm like, I told you.
I mean,
you're not even anything.
It was on my mom's list of favorite guitar parts.
Yeah,
rudimentary stuff. You can't. What can you say? Sometimes it just works so well. Sorry, David. Go ahead.
I was just saying sometimes the same thing happens in movies where you, like, if they said to you guys, write on this album in order, the biggest hit on down, you'd probably get it wrong every time because you just don't know. And that's sort of the fun of it. Movies, we have scenes. Even that you mentioned Tommy Boy, the scene where the deer comes out was the top rated scene. Joe Dirt, where I got chili dogs thrown at us, was the biggest laugh. And then when the movie's out for 10 years, you go, those aren't the ones you hear about every time. It's throwaway jokes or it's something else or
quirky.
So you really can't figure it out. Yeah, it's very hard to figure music, any of that stuff out.
Totally.
And the worst thing you can ever do is think that you figured it out.
Yeah, that's what I do.
To write the next one. I feel like there was about at least 5 years, maybe 10, where even though we didn't know that we were doing it, we did in the back of our mind have a little bit of a formula that we knew worked. But when you try to recreate it, it's missing something from the formula. And so it just sounds
can't
half-assed. That's what I was going to ask you about. It says, can we please have fun? No question mark or anything. And is that to this idea of like, you have all this success and how do you not get trapped up in trying to recreate it or be this or that? It seemed like to me, this album is really kind of new, but it's still, you guys, but you want to get away from that idea, right? And I guess the producer helped you, the pressure of trying to repeat yourself and make a hit, or you don't ever, or you got away from it, or you had fun, whatever.
Without dragging us to like a dark place.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I felt like we had gotten to a place where we were doing our thing, but nothing was feeling that exciting amongst us. We were just kind of like repeating ourselves.
It's a job.
It started to feel like, oh, I can't wait to get home. Like I'm
normal for a band, long time.
And
together.
then a lot of real shit happened. We lost our mom. I had like a couple of like just a lot of like friendships that were kind, people were passing away. It was like a lot of just like heavy stuff. And I ended up going on a little bit of a personal journey. And in the process, when I started to write again, I was like, oh man, this feels different. It feels like I had kind of like gotten to the next chapter and I was a kid again. And like I was writing whack, it sounds like I could use feels like I could use a beating, whatever. I was writing these lyrics that I was just like, oh, it'd be so much easier to say something that's more palatable and people would be like, oh yeah, it's but it's like I want to say something every now and then that makes you go like, wait, what? It's kind of your own viewpoint. And through the process, I fell in love with writing songs again. And I feel like all of us just dove in and it felt different because it felt like something that we hadn't done in a long time.
And I think that, surprising yourself also surprises the listener. And when things are a little like it's a non sequitur, it doesn't quite fit. This is on Stop the Bleeding. Lightning strikes a pose and you're unfazed. It's never going to take your place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't exactly rhyme. There's something just cool, that final sentence of like, it's just perfectly off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's when we're writing songs, I just hope that everyone can see how perfectly off we are.
That's the name of your next album. Perfectly Off. Kings of Leon.
All of our
Do you guys get mistaken for any other bands? What do people think you are when you're out?
They think we're the Dixie Chicks.
Is that true?
Just the
Dixie Chicks aren't that anymore. There's something else.
They're just the chicks.
No, they're just a No. Okay, real quickly, because I have a question. Oh, first, one other question is, are the MTV Awards, I don't know this, do you still do a video for every song anymore, or is that way gone?
You kind of do. Now the record labels will have you do things called visualizers, which is just like a really cheap music video. So you don't have to like, there's definitely no like huge budget $1 million videos, but
they just want something to pass around.
Yeah.
There's something visual to get out there.
Mhm.
I like those on YouTube where you see bubbles and you see the lyrics.
Yeah.
I just enjoy that.
Well, we actually, because we were so proud of the album that we made, and so unsure of how it's going to get out there these days with everything kind of being a mess, we took it upon ourselves to make music videos for all of the songs. So we kind of did them all like here in Nashville in the studio, and they're visualizers, but there's more to them. So we'll slowly start putting them out. But I think we have some like really great stuff that's going to add to the music, but also kind of make people like us a little more.
Well, go ahead.
Let's go.
Sorry. He's using all your things.
What did he just say? Sorry.
I said, let's go to a clip.
Yes, David. The thrill will be for you guys, since this album was out last week. And then, by the way, for people who are not familiar, you guys have always been huge in the UK, and your album is already #1 in the UK.
Number one, number two. Who's counting?
So when you go out to
Mhm.
Hyde Park, there's gonna be some time for the album to matriculate out, and then you're gonna do split screen or something, and the crowd's gonna go crazy. I assume for comedians, when something new lands and works, that's a really big high, and that's gonna
100%.
happen to you guys because that's how good these songs are.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's something that we haven't anticipated in a while. Just like you can feel it, like we can feel how this album's being received, and I keep telling the guys, I'm like, dude, this is gonna be a sing along tour. I can feel it. I
Love it.
I have a
Yep.
feeling we're gonna start a song and I'm not gonna have to finish it, you know. And if you can ever get that going for you,
That's it.
good
But it
way to
is-
save your voice.
It's different though, because you guys get to, it's fresh. You know, when you tell a joke, the people in the room haven't heard it. And so that eruption is just like got to be the best feeling because this, they've heard it and they've kind of, like you said, they've digested it and they know what's coming. That's
But they get excited when you start it. That's got to be a fun feeling when you start one they like and they all go, ah, this one.
Well, when I like a song, I fall in love with the song or something. I want to
Yeah.
hear it a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And then in that environment with all the other fans, it's so communal because the songs are emotional. And so you guys are going to kick in and then they're going to see these other people love this song, you know, these strangers around them. It's
we're
very-
just gonna argue about who has the better job. No, you
Concerts are still fun though for you guys. But you know, when we do jokes at work and it's new, like you said, new song, it's really nothing more fun than still being able to crack a code to get something that works because there's a million songs out there. There's a million comedians and jokes. So if you can think of a new way to basically do the same thing and it works, it's a blast.
Yeah, I've got a lot of new things that it depends on the room. They, you know, you hatch them in a small room, like I'm talking like 80 seats, you know, and they're like little weird sketches. And then you go out to 2,000 seats and it's different, but there is no greater feeling. And I have the good fortune to have some things they want to hear. I mean, they're going to want to hear Church Lady. They're going to want to hear Chopped Broccoli. They're going to want to hear from Garth. A Hans and Franz. So it's a good problem to have, but then
Hear
it's
from
really,
Garth.
they're going to hear, they want to hear from him.
What does Garth have to catch up?
I
that
feel
catch him up?
funny. Like when I used to climb the rope in gym class.
I put my lighter on my balls.
the first
Go
time
ahead.
the first time I ever fell down from laughing was Wayne's World 2 Laundromat. First of all, you had me on the
Tuned out.
ropes with the I like 'em teeny and toasty. But then the uppercut of the tiny tidy whities, I flipped
Yeah.
back in my chair, fell onto my back. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard up that
Love
point.
it.
It was, I knew when I got the prop, you know, and I was a grown man and these little tiny underwear had shrunk in the dryer, Dave. I don't know if you saw the movie. I was like tiny. So yeah. You guys
Yeah.
are making
He
my
was-
day.
Well,
Jeez, this is
yeah.
my favorite podcast ever.
I want to go back before we get off this. We're talking
Yeah.
new songs and stuff like that. When something that David that you do with your stand up, and I see other comedians kind of be able to pull it off. It seems like you're telling the joke for the first time because you're kind of like half of it you're telling, but then you're kind of under your voice, like kind of is this a thought?
Absolutely.
And it's like how you are able to do that multiple times and still be believable.
Sell
That's
it.
like, oh, I'm his buddy. He's telling me a funny anecdote, you know?
Right. Finally, a good question. Well, the thing about me that's great, Dana, you might want to tune out for a second.
I could talk about David's brilliance all day long. But you do it first.
No, I appreciate that you like that sort of style. I think it's just kind of the way it's always been. But if someone doesn't know me and they get dragged along, someone wrote me on Instagram. They're like, it looked like you're not even trying. Like, why do I have to look like I'm trying if it's supposed to be funny? Like, how hard do I have to sweat? It's hard to do it this way also. It's just supposed to look a different way. You know what I mean? It's hard to throw away jokes like you're not thinking of them, but you actually are thinking of them.
Because
And you know they're
I think about like if we did that as a band, if we went out and
Yeah.
kind of like, we just kind of like act like we're writing it on
We're
the spot.
jamming.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Bill Murray was the combo. He was funny, and then he's like, do the lounge singers, Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. And he's like, anyway, I love you guys. And everyone's like, you're not even, you're half singing, he's half talking, he doesn't give a shit. That was one of my big influences,
Funny.
that guy. So,
Well,
but I appreciate it.
Bob Dylan is pretty lo-fi up there these days. You know, back
He's
to
no-fi.
We went on tour with Bob Dylan.
Oh, shit.
He's good.
He's a fan of ours.
He opened up for us for a few months.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. He was closing the shows out for you?
But Dylan, this was 10 years ago.
At least.
Yeah, it was a while.
Mhm.
But he's got
Ew.
his Bob Dylan thing now where it's like you have to hear the line of the song to know which one it is.
Yeah, where are
We
we?
just be like, Tangled Up in Blue. And it's like, oh, this is
Tangled Up in Blue.
oh yeah, we love this one.
Yeah, I know that one. They should have the words on the screen. Just so.
I love his stuff since time over mine, whatever his recent stuff. It's soon after midnight, and I have a date with the fairy queen. I mean, he can still write lyrics like.
Oh, he's
he's the
so
best.
good. And his band would come to us and they'd be like, which hotel are you guys staying in? We'd be like, the Hyatt, whatever. And they'd be like, we're so jealous. Bob only stays at Holiday Inns on the ground level so he can open his window and smoke cigarettes. So
Wow.
like the whole tour,
Oh, really?
they would be staying on the outskirts of town at a Holiday Inn.
Mhm.
We would be like king of the castle, like the presidential suite.
You think about how many people saw him and they were like, man, that guy looked just like Bob Dylan, but there's no way
Yeah,
staying here.
that's a great
David
trick.
and I did Dylan once with David on Update on SNL.
Yeah.
And he did Tom Petty.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
everyone's
had a big top hat on it. Then we kind of try to make them different. It is a different sound, but it was a goofy update bit, of course.
Mhm.
Dana, before I let these guys go, it
Hmm.
says there is a typo here. It says Jared was a straight A student. We'll fix that. And
It's actually true.
who is the smartest?
He's
Probably there. We're all smart in our own ways. But no, Nate.
Condescending.
Yeah,
And who's the latest?
it was me for a long time. I'm better at that now.
Okay.
I found out it's very annoying. And now I'm very punctual, and I get livid when people are very late.
See?
Dinners. and
Now
stuff.
the
I'm like, no, it's
pupil has become the teacher.
yeah. I'll text them like a photo of the menu, and I'm like, I'm ordering for you.
Yeah, I love when people
6:03.
order me. 6:03. Hey, being on time is an hour and a half late.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's my two heavy questions, Dana. Anything to wrap it up?
AI gonna write your next album.
They already did. Oh, oops. What am I supposed to say?
Whoops.
Oops.
No, I hope not, man. You hope they don't get good enough to where we're
Oh shit.
think
obsolete. I doubt it. though.
no, I think you'll always have you'll be able to have that little bit of a distance between reality and you'll go like, oh, it's missing that little thing, hopefully. But
Yeah.
who knows?
If robots are less of nerds than we are, then we should quit anyway.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if robots might be too nerdy. Yeah. I saw a Joe Rogan clip this morning and it was AI and it wasn't him talking, but it was with his voice.
Oh my
It
god.
didn't say it. And I'm like, we got about 4 months left before the whole thing collapses. I mean,
Was it
it
funny
was kind of weird.
or was it like selling
It
deer?
No, it was more statement-y, but it was believable.
Well,
Was
you're
it a digital
sure.
copy visually as well, or just his voice?
Yeah, it was him at the podcast.
Oh.
He's talking about the Jake Paul Tyson fight.
Oh,
And I'm like, this sounds weird. And it wasn't off his Instagram. So I'm like,
your story
fishy.
your story about the teacher that on one of y'all's shows that someone like
Oh yeah,
used his voice to say that he said some bad stuff. and
like
then
got
he
the superintendent
right.
in trouble.
Oh, that's another scary
that
thing. Yeah.
terrified me.
They took his voice, put it in AI, and
Right.
said he said something racial and got him
yes.
fired.
But
Yeah.
what if like something resurfaces and you actually said it, and maybe we can blame it on?
Now people can get out of it and say,
Yeah, that's definitely.
I mean,
AI.
honestly, almost nothing's believable both ways.
Yeah, it could help. us
Because
out.
you might say that. Yeah. Unless they say Bob Dylan was at a Holiday Inn, they go, no, that one's real.
He stayed on the first floor. Hey, would you like a Chesterfield?
My problem is everyone believes it's me because I look exactly the same. Like, look at this idiot. He's at our hotel.
You look
I don't like the
exactly like
hotels.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I do. I look like Tom Petty. Look.
God.
Rude. Okay.
Paul McCartney called me before the Zoom and asked for backstage pass at Hyde Park, and I didn't know what to say to him.
No problem. He's got it. You're kidding. Right?
They're called the Kings. They're the Kings of Leon. And, they're quite large in the UK. People like them very much.
Yeah.
And if I could get a backstage pass, it'd be super duper.
But what if you run into Ringo? Give us Ringo.
Love. They were like me brothers. Me brothers.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. They love me brothers. How about you, George? Well, I was always John and Paul were the primary songwriters. Sorry.
What's Joe Biden doing there?
Hey, why is he here?
Come on.
Come on.
It's the Kings of Leon. This is what they do. They do the song. It's a fire, sex of fire. Come on. You can't believe it's not butter. What?
Sex on butter.
They're tremendous. They're tremendous. They're kings of their own right. They're the big.
Sorry.
I'm getting.
Donald Trump is a huge fan. I talked to him too. I'm just trying to make these guys laugh because they.
What if Paul McCartney, they give him tickets and they show up and it's Schwartz and going, dude.
Dude, I have a show at 4:30. Come to
Dude,
my show.
No, cruise by. Fuck Spade.
We're playing the Forum in 3 months, so we can kick Swartzen off the.
Oh, you're out here.
Put you
Welcome to
guys on
that.
the list and bump Swartzen.
We'll come to that, and then on the encore, we'll do chop and broccoli. You guys have a keyboard there?
Yes.
Yeah, we got keyboards.
And
I've already got myself on stage.
It's amazing. We can cover the theme song too. Bow down, 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 down. We can do.
Yeah, you guys play
Yeah.
backups to chop and broccoli.
So,
Okay,
all right,
guys,
get
thank
on
you
to
very much.
You're going on another Zoom next, or you
Yeah.
off?
I don't
That's
know.
it.
Yeah, we're on.
They're not on some press junket. They're just doing some fun.
Well, I like this whole thing. You guys
stuff
look
with
very
us.
comfortable.
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, all right. This is the corny part. Pleasure to meet you. You guys are fantastic, and have a great tour. And this is the awkward part where I press the red button, says leave, and it always feels weird.
No.
But I guess I'm gonna press it. There's a certain sadness to it.
Thank you guys
Okay,
so
dudes,
much.
we'll talk to you. We'll see you at the forum. This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. I'm going to tell you first about this lady at breakfast.
I want to hear that. This is what we should be doing.
More interesting, yeah.
Okay,
So
lady
I'm
with
I'm at
breakfast.
breakfast, and I sit like this sometimes. I actually turn around like a cat.
You're sitting on your haunches.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, got it.
and it's
yeah,
because my neck's bad. Anyway, I order my food and she's sitting over here, and then the whole breakfast goes fine. And then when I leave, we're leaving at the same time, and I almost slipped by the crosswalk. So I go, I almost wiped out. You were supposed to save me, because she's just I was talking to a total stranger, but I slid almost into the street, and I thought she might grab me by the scruff and save me. She couldn't care less. And she goes, "Oh, why do you sit like that?" Okay, personal question. I go, "Oh, in there? Yeah. Well, my neck gives me trouble, so I don't." And she goes, "Oh, I'm a massage therapist." I go, "Yeah, so I just don't sit like that." Anyway, nice to meet you. I didn't bite. She wanted me to go, "Oh my God."
Oh, she said she's a physical therapist.
No, massage therapist.
Oh, massage therapist. I see.
And she wanted me to go, oh, this is kismet. Like, it's like Reese's. You put your chocolate in my peanut butter. I go, oh, cool. Anyway, so I just sit. Sometimes I sit normal. Anyway, light screen. And then we get to the car, and I feel guilty. So when I'm getting in my car, she walks by, and I go, "It's tougher to sit like that in here." She just kept walking. I go,
I went back to the same restaurant the next day. I said, "How was yesterday?" She goes, "I had a haunch sitter." Tried to help him, but he walked
She
away.
goes, I had some dope.
I had a haunch sitter. You get haunch sitters in here, and I know how to help them, but they just don't. They don't pay attention.
When
to me.
people go, I think I
But
saw.
you said you were a big tipper.
If they go, "Spade, I saw him the other night," and they go, "Oh, I don't think it was him." They go, "Does he sit on his knee?" They go,
But that's actually pretty good. You
my
can sit
tell.
on your knees. Means your knees are in pretty
She
good
did
shape.
say, "Does it hurt your knees?" And I go, "No, the knee is the only thing that works."
It's starting to go.
What does that mean?
Your knee's starting to go.
No, mine. All right, we don't have to advertise the world. So our guest today is
Nanjiani is actually an easy name for me.
He's done a lot. Obviously, this Big Sick movie, which was a huge, not underground hit. What would you say? It was sort of a big
It's kind of
hit.
an indie hit, but
Indie
it
hit,
was it got a huge splash. He won the Academy Award. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. He gives a lot of kudos to Judd Apatow, his producer, and he's from Pakistan. And I didn't know that he left Pakistan at 18, and then he moves to America. And the story of his journey is remarkable, and how he became this huge star in America. He's a brilliant stand-up, really smart writer.
Yeah, sharp writer.
Mm-hmm. Silicon Valley.
Yeah, it was
talk
a great
all about
one.
that.
Yeah, I'm working with
His
Mike
stand-up
Judge.
specials.
Specials, and then how he got Pump You Up for the movie called
The Eternals.
Eternals. I told
he
you.
just decided to do that, and we talk about that, and we get into how it affected his relationship with his wife.
Mhm.
It's a very interesting podcast, David.
I've never had the experience of having a girl say, "Oh, do you work out?" Nothing like that. Not your muscles are too big. Not anything's too big. It's just like, hey man, let's. You're what's known as a shoulder shrugger. So let's just get it over with, and I can.
Well, sometimes it's hard because, the shirt comes off. And I knew a guy once who's man about town where the shirt came off. Mm-hmm. And then the young lady with him kind of said, "Oh, look, a tummy," and kind of wiggled his belly.
Oh, I think I've heard that. You don't look fat. You just have a gut. I go,
yeah. You're just soft like me.
Yeah.
When I look at you, it's like looking in a mirror.
That's what girls say to me. I hope I don't weigh more than you. I'm like, these are all not compliments.
I know. You love it, though, when they pick you up, kind of bridle going across the
when we walk into Chili's and they go, "Let me just carry you in."
Yeah. I've seen you. Sometimes you're riding on their shoulders and you're running around the parking lot.
Mostly at concerts. Okay, this is it.
Greg's going, we can't use
Say
this.
his name. Ready? Here we go. And now you're listening to
Kumail Nanjiani is our guest. David?
Okay, here he is, that guy. There's so many negatives that we could go into.
Well, I don't want to spread rumors.
Oh my God, guys, this is so awkward. I've been here for the whole time.
I've been here for the whole time.
Do you remember when we met?
Of course I remember when we met. What are you talking about?
I know.
Check your diary.
Why do you remember? Why do you remember when we met?
That was a blur for me. Dan Harmon's podcast.
Yeah,
which
you were
at the comic strip. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was invited to go there and watch. And then they're like, "Hey, so I met you and a few others," but I was reminded by my son yesterday, telling him I was going to interview you with David, and he goes, or podcast with you, conversation.
Yeah.
He goes, "You've met him." I go, "Oh yeah, that's right."
I remember meeting your son.
Wow.
Did was it?
He's
a
so
pleasant,
much nicer person than you, Dana.
Was it a pleasant exchange?
It was very pleasant. You were very, very nice. Obviously, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and you were very, very funny on the podcast, and you were very, very nice. And I told everyone I know, "Hey, Dana Carvey is actually very, very nice."
Actually,
are we considered nice guys? I mean, David is a nice guy, but there's some people I don't think they think anymore you're snarky.
They for sure do.
They still remember that, but he's a nice guy.
Go ahead, let him talk. Let's hear what he has to say about me.
Well, I want to say since I'm outside your circles,
Yeah,
your guys' reputation as human beings is that Dana is a nice guy.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, we wanted to talk to you today about I like this let it slide. I have to say, you are known as a nice guy because, well, Dana always was, but no one knows the real Dana.
Yeah, but I'm passive aggressive. I have a lot of anger, don't you?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do, because we were both crazy families, and I was not that tall. I'll never say the other word. I was not that tall, and I was picked on. They called me shrimp cocktail my whole life, and so shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, shrimp cocktail. I was vertically challenged. Absolutely.
Oh, it just brings back triggering
Kumail,
things.
were you? How big were you like when you were 12?
I'll tell you, this is great. By the way, I want to say, David, you're also considered a very nice guy. I was just joking.
Okay, thank you. No,
wonderful reputations among, people outside your circle. Two things to that. One, I'm like 5'9.5". So
Okay.
in
Wow.
Pakistan, where the average height is much shorter, I was one of the tall people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved to America, and it was like I lost 3 inches. Suddenly,
Yeah.
I remember I went to school and I got there early for international student, like college international student orientation. And so it was us and the football team. And I
Mhm.
remember standing in line behind the football.
Bad scene.
Bad scene. The game has changed.
Well, my dad was stationed in Japan and he didn't want to come back because he said he was 5'7" and a monster, and that's the way to go. And he said we should all pack up and go back to Japan because he knew I was a fucking pipsqueak, and I was lighting up like, are you just joking? Are we gonna go somewhere where I'll seem tall and
Shrimp
whatever.
cocktail. I don't agree with that shrimp cocktail.
That was the worst, and it was real.
Hey.
Go ahead, come on.
Well, I'll tell you what mine was. I was very, very small. Like they called me chicken shoulders. I had
Weird.
So, well, what would have been give us a weight? So
They called me
you're
cricket
5'9" in
shoulders.
high school. So, and what would be your lightest weight? Were you like 130 or something, or 140?
yeah, probably 130, maybe 120. I was very, very, I wasn't, I had like, it was the worst. I had like a pot belly and no meat anywhere else.
At 125.9, you have a pot belly?
It's not the way to go.
That's low lean mass, man. No
I
wonder
was,
you have
I was 125, mostly head. I had a very big head and a very tiny body for most of my adolescence.
So where's the energy and drive and sort of maybe normal comedian chip on their shoulder or underdog status that created you coming from Pakistan to America and then killing it in America?
Oh,
that takes drive.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a few things. One, very, very tough high school experience. Very, very not cool. This was the thing I had sort of my whole life was like, I'm not cool. I'm not good looking. I'm not good at sports, but I'm smart. So I knew I was smart. So all my drive.
That's the name of my book, that whole thing.
I knew Kamala was smart is the name of my book. But anyway.
No, I was the Pipsqueak Diaries is really my book. But I hear what you're saying. So you were all these things, and were you picked on at all, or was that part of it, or was that all of it, what you're saying?
So I switched high schools my last 2 years of schooling. So up until then, I was fine. I was always a nerd. I kind of got along with everybody. I wasn't popular by any means, but nobody picked on me.
Mm-hmm.
Even the bad kids were like kind of cool to me. And then the last 2 years, I went to a new high school, and suddenly I became the guy that was picked on.
Oh, yuck.
Because I had a crush on a girl that like a cool guy had a crush on.
Oops.
And it sort of came out, and it just became a nightmare. All I wanted to do was be invisible. And all I was completely picked on. I had a friend of mine who was like, when you first transfer to a new school, you're sort of like, oh, nobody here knows that I'm
it's
lame.
terrifying. Who are you going to have lunch with?
Yeah, but I was also like, oh, I can be cool at this school.
Oh, you got a new start.
Oh, a fresh start.
They don't know. Exactly. They don't
know. And so I went in, I sort of had developed a new cool walk. I was like, they're not going to know.
Smart.
Was it bouncy on the heels? Can you paint a picture what a cool walk is? Is it sort of strutting?
Yeah, I don't care. Walking into every room, dick first,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed a PR person because when I would have hired one because here's my thing, and I'll let you talk in a minute, but
could you afford $5,000 a month back in those days?
God dang, it's worse than that now. It's so sickening. Don't even let America know what we do. It's so gross and embarrassing.
Keep that number.
Keep it to yourselves. We'll get into money later because I want to know celebrity net
you're
worth.
rich.
I look up people and I want to see what you got.
Dana, I was a little skateboarder in Arizona. I was smart like this guy, and I was more pipsqueak, but I had white hair. I had some superpowers. We'll get to the Eternals in a minute. I had some superpowers because I had long white blonde hair, not extensions. They were real. And then I had
thick thick
I had
hair.
cool shorts. I was tan back then. Obviously, that's gone away. But and I had 2 broken arms when I got to school from skateboarding in empty pools. So I had all this cool
We
stuff.
had a double cast on. When you went
Yeah,
to
double splints. My dad,
double splits.
my stepdad wouldn't give me a cast because he goes, let's wait and see. I go, they're both broken. What are we waiting for? He was drunk. So he was a doctor also. So I went to school when I was a nerd at my school. I was like a math guy and a spelling bee guy and a chess guy, and no one cared about me. I get to my high school, and like he's saying, new PR campaign because my brother was cool and all his cheerleader friends liked me. And then the word spread like wildfire. Spade's cool. And everyone's my school's like, oh, wait, no, he's not. No, he's not. It was too late. It was 5 schools merged and mine was a minority. They couldn't get the word out and was getting stomped on. And then I was like, I'd walk by and go, hey, old friends, how's math going in the flashcards, nerds? Anyway, new friends, let's go to the assembly. And so
you transitioned to a cool group. You pulled off something that's almost impossible.
Almost. And believe me, everyone was baffled. Teachers, principals.
None of my friends had sex. Nobody. We were all
jumped
nobody.
to that.
We're on the cross country team and the track team. Nobody had sex.
Yeah,
nobody.
Most of mine still haven't.
All your friends.
And they would be in their mid 40s. It's like calling Steve Carell.
You're like you're on Facebook with them going, you guys, I'm just lucky I'm an international star now, or I'd be in your same boat.
Yeah, exactly. All you have to do.
Yeah, that's a one big jump you got to make.
Become kind of famous. So you, Spade, you must have been funny then already, right?
Well, it was back when the great looks came later. Back when you had to just mumble jokes and just try to sneak things in because no one's really listening and I don't really want to try to tell a joke and I'm not really. So it was a lot of throwaways and things. And then it got, because you have to get some girls' attention. You have to get guys' attention. No one is rushing to hang out. And so that's just like what a lot of us do. You just sort of work on that part because you don't have the ease of just being good looking guy or girl where everything comes to you and you don't need to work on that at all.
So, but then you started at some point, as you became cooler, you were probably known as like the funny guy. At some point, people started listening.
At some point, we did talent shows and I would try old SNL sketches and try to write stuff with my buddies only because I wasn't on football. I wasn't on track. I wasn't doing anything cool or fun. And so we had 2 days of a talent show.
You weren't on the football team.
I was not on any of the things. I was not. I did try out and I got fucking smeared. There used to be an old term for that. And then the coach pulled me aside like Lucas, that old movie. And he said, I don't think this is for you, bud.
Hey, man, I was on D basketball. You guys are too young for that. There was varsity, junior varsity, soft frosh, and then D. And I'm not
Wasn't
kidding.
that online?
Our center who controlled the paint was 5'3". Not a joke.
Controlled the paint.
He controlled the paint at 5'3". Controlled the paint. Most of us were 5'3".
How high was the
That was a basket.
The basket was 10, and it was a Herculean effort to hit the rim.
You guys didn't put on like a play school rim?
Well, at home,
Nerf.
we had a 9-foot rim, and I'd practice in the driveway. Thought I was really good. Thought I was really cool, and then I get to the real thing. It's a foot higher.
Shit.
I was fucked, man. What about your experience in high school, Camille?
Yeah, we have to talk to him a little bit.
A little bit. But I like hearing that, David. I'm sort of co-hosting today. What was your experience? When did you go, I think I'm funny?
Well, I want to hear yours, Dana. So all of high school, I really do. All of high school, I was basically, it was really bad. There was one, so when I first got there, I thought I could be cool. And my big mistake was right in the beginning, I started talking to some of the cool kids and they thought I was cool. And then at some point, very early on, week 3, they figured out I wasn't cool. I don't know what happened. I think maybe
What data did they get? Just because you can't hide it forever.
you can't hide it. And I think my previous group sent like an APB out or something, being like, hey, just so you know, this guy's pretending to be something he's not.
It's like a Netflix movie.
Hey, you guys are triggering me a little bit. I just want to be honest about the fear I had in high school. And I'm getting a little triggered, just a little warning sign. But yeah, just this idea of being cool and do people like me? And
Yeah, and I got contact lenses, so I didn't have glasses. So I don't know how they found out, but they found out. So now the problem was they all know my name.
The next
and
problem.
They know I'm very lame. One of my friends who was sort of a cool friend, he had become cool, because he had become like hot over summer. So he was a nerd, came back after a summer. Suddenly he was very handsome. He got cool. So
wow.
That's
I would
very rare.
help him with math homework. And so he knew where I lived. And then one day he took all the other cool kids, brought them over to my house, and they threw eggs at my house.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come over and give you a party.
What a turncoat.
No.
Oh, my God.
He used
Ben
that
Arnold
to gain permanent membership into the cool crowd.
Oh, that that would do it, though.
Yeah, I did.
That really helped him out.
Wow. That big nerd who's with the weird walk? I know where he lives.
I got his 20.
I probably, David did this. I don't know about you, but I would get an enforcer. His name was Steve Lee. And in 4th grade, I befriended him, and he was my guard. And we had a club with one other kid, and we call it the Great Club. And everyone wanted to be in the Great Club. And they say, how do we get in the Great Club? We got to be great. There was only 3 of us.
Great.
But Steve Lee would beat up anyone who would attack me. That was my strategy, because I was 4'4", maybe 68 pounds.
How did you manipulate Steve Lee?
Well, I don't know. Funniness or whatever. I smoked. I stole cigarettes and smoked. I had fist fights. I shoplifted. I went through all that.
So
But-
you were like actually cool.
You know what? Here, I'm going to ask you guys a question, because I know our listeners are fascinated. You could have a cool 4th grade, 5th grade a little dormant, cool in
Dormant.
6th, and then 7th and 8th a little insecure. And then in high school, it was all insecure, because I'd never seen... The cheerleaders were like gods. Marianne Silvestri was the most untouchable, stunning teenage girl. And so it was just nervousness at that point.
Right. Suddenly we're like children. We look the best we've ever looked in our lives.
Yes, that's
it. And the force that has kept our species alive for thousands of years is coursing through us. It's so unfair that suddenly this biological need to procreate is given to us when we look our worst and feel the worst about it.
You're really putting it politely. It was like boner junction at I mean, I was in school and I couldn't focus on literally anything. I'm just like staring.
This is like a stand-up bit. Did you ever have a thing where the teacher would ask you to go up to the chalkboard and you were already full throttle? You're like,
well, we didn't have mixed classes. We had boys and girls classes.
No, so not as many.
So that was okay.
But you can still daydream, and then it's harder to explain. You're like, I was just thinking about girls, dudes. Chicks. While you're sweating.
Draw stick figure porn with your pencil. Not
what
that
if
I
you
ever
had
did
porn
that.
like today? What if you were on your phone under your desk and you're just looking at monster,
I can't
mother, daughter,
imagine
stepdaughter?
That would have been like at
It's too
that
much.
age. Getting porn at that age was such a quest. You had to go on do side missions and stuff to be able to
Worth it. Yeah, Spiegel
But
catalog.
my high school I did not think I was funny all through high school. It wasn't until I got to college in the US that everybody was suddenly very nice to me and kind to me. And they were sort of interested in me because I was Pakistani, and there was one other Pakistani in the
You were like E.T. Everyone's
What
like,
was your
hey,
accent like
where are
when
you
you
from?
first came over compared to now? Was it could you talk? You could kind of. Was it heavier or what? Or
Yes.
did you always speak bilingual? Yeah.
I mean, I always was bilingual, but I had a thicker Pakistani accent. And so they were really interested, and suddenly I was funny. I don't know what happened, but I remember at one point talking to a friend of mine and doing some riff about Aladdin's sword. I don't remember what it was, but her laughing so hard she couldn't speak. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe this is what I have. And then people started calling me like, I'm this of the group, I'm this of the group, and you're the funny one of the group. And
Ooh, that's interesting. You get a
I'm
little
the funny
moniker, so
guy.
it kind of makes you believe it, right?
Yeah. And suddenly I was like, oh, I have a personality. I'm a person. And my only thing is that I'm funny. And so that became the most important thing in the world, was being funny was all I
Because you know what, Dana, I think I would say you two guys were pretty smart growing up, and it is not a panty dropper. Like when you're growing up, funny, that's because he was smart. Obviously, this dude's smart. and it wasn't really turning heads to be smart, especially probably people are smarter in Pakistan than over here. So he comes over here.
There was always someone smarter. And also, it wasn't social currency. Yeah.
And then you get to dumb America.
Hey,
even smart
you
here.
from
No.
Pakistan?
Yeah.
You talk funny, don't
Yeah.
you?
Did you think when you were over there, like, was anyone doing stand-up? I mean, this has got to be beyond wildest dreams. Go to America, then be a stand-up, and then be funny enough to do it, and then jump to millionaire, highest tax bracket. Go.
I won't.
Or second
I won't
highest.
say that I'm where you guys are.
Well, can I have an addendum question that's related to David?
Yeah.
So you're growing up at 8 to 18. You've got impressions of America. You're watching America on TV, and then you come to America and you do everything David just said. But what was the difference between your impressions of America and when you got here? Because you saw it through television, right? Stuff like
Television and movies, big fan of movies and TV. Really, I was a very quiet, shy kid. So I spent most of my time watching movies, watching TV, playing video games. So my impression of America was what you project to the rest of the world, which is for the most part, New York and LA. When I moved to America, I moved to Iowa, which isn't
that's even
really
funnier.
known.
Okay, a whole different America.
Yeah, when I landed, I was like, wait, where are all the buildings? What happened? Why are there pigs everywhere?
So weird. Iowa's beautiful, by the way, but of all places.
Beautiful. Now looking back, I'm very happy I went to a place like Iowa where I was novel and it wasn't so packed. It wasn't overwhelming. I moved to a town of 9,000 people in the middle of Iowa.
Right. Wow. That's a good middle step.
It is. And so it helped me sort of, acclimate to speaking English all the time and shaking hands with girls and all that kind of stuff. And just how to talk to girls. I didn't know how to talk to girls, not just even, I don't mean romantically. I mean, just talking to a girl.
Sure.
Was nerve-wracking in the beginning. So America was very, very different for me. In Pakistan, to answer your question, Spade, there was not stand-up the way we have it here. Now they do. India actually has a huge stand-up scene in English. There were mostly people. There was one stand-up I really loved, and he did impressions, and he was very, very good. His name was Moin Akhtar. He has since passed away. But
I follow him on Instagram.
I would not say I was a fan of comedy or stand-up comedy until I got to college, and that's really fell in love.
What impressions would that gentleman do? That you just Pakistani impressionist? Would he do an American?
No, it would be Pakistani celebrities. So
celebrities. Okay.
Yeah, like a Pakistani cricketer and stuff like that. Pakistani
cricketer, hilarious. How funny. Did you see that and think? The way I used to watch like Johnny Carson and see the comedians, and you just go, it's so fun, but it seems too far-fetched for you to do it, but it's just fun to watch, right?
Oh, it was impossible thinking that I could be in the biz. I mean, I honestly still kind of can't believe it because for me, it's been, a million tiny little steps to it, and your goals change as you get more opportunities. There wasn't a point where I was like, someday I want to be on a podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey. I couldn't have imagined that. And so, no, being in this business was really, really not even a dream I dared to dream.
I think gradual fame is a kind of a gift. It's your only chance of coming out somewhat sane.
You guys both didn't have that. You guys became famous overnight.
No,
it took me probably longer than Dana, but
10 years for me from my first set to getting on SNL, being first show.
For me, getting known has been tiny steps. It wasn't, I didn't go from open mics to then suddenly doing something that everybody sees. I had like small parts in things, slightly bigger parts in things, slightly bigger parts in smaller things. So my becoming known has been like a lot of tiny steps. For you, Dana, I assume when you were doing stand-up, you weren't really famous, and then suddenly you end up on SNL, and now there's a day where
a bigger jump,
become famous.
Yes, pretty quickly because I it was a smaller cast, and I had a couple good characters the first year. So, it a really bizarre thing that's happened to all of us when you first time someone wants your autograph back then. That wasn't pictures. It's like, wow, you know who I am. And
I miss those days.
Yeah. I was at a mall with my mom recently and someone asked for a selfie and my mom laughed so hard she couldn't speak. She was like, why do they want your selfie? Why?
I mean, a picture of you two together
Of
and they
you,
lean
like
in.
you're a star, or what?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to her. So yeah, Dana, you and Spade, you had a similar thing, I assume, where you went from not being known to being very known overnight.
Well, even when I got on SNL, it wasn't the Dana overnight success. Dana hit hard starting in the cold opening.
Smaller cast.
Yeah,
helped.
smaller cast. I got stand up, and then I was sort of known around town in Arizona and Scottsdale. And that was a sort of fame, you know, that was a something.
Of course.
And that's probably what you did. And then going and getting on like at the Improv in LA, I was in LA, which counts as being famous in Arizona because someone actually broke out and said,
I know.
everyone said, it's like saying, I'm going to go to the US. If you actually do that, you're already way ahead of the game.
If you're called for civilians outside LA and you're a Comedy Store regular or an Improv regular, you are kind of a celebrity back home.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I moved from Chicago. I was in Chicago and my comedian friends would move to LA. In my head, just by moving to LA, they were famous.
Exactly. Just that part, Dana. Forget getting on. They don't know that I'm eating, you know, I go to Ralph's and I try to buy one of those little rotisserie chickens and gnaw on it in the alley. They don't know that it's like The Walking Dead. But I get 2 spots a week and I make $28 a spot or something, and that's it. So I got to figure out a way to live. And then I got
doing the Improv.
Yeah. Then I do a little bit of road work. Then I got an HBO Young Comedian special. That was a big jump because it was on HBO.
Cool. So can I ask you, when you were doing these spots in LA at the Improv, were you like crushing?
No. I look back and the lineups were like Leno, Paul Reiser, Kevin Nealon,
And were those guys
Seinfeld.
They were already really...
They were big headliners, but that's the lineup. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I go, these are the guys I've seen on Johnny Carson, and they're all in one spot, and they're going, everyone's doing 20. And they said, why don't you... They passed me. Comedy Store said no, but Improv passed me. Just because I was 20, I looked 15 and I had long blonde hair. And they said, looking back, they just didn't have one of me. You know, I didn't look like I'm from New York. I wasn't that tall. I just didn't look like a comedian. So they said, why don't you host or do a set like at midnight? And that was it. And it's just to get out there and get warmed up and watch people. So gradual fame. Yeah. I mean, I want to get back to you, but I got a movie. I had a small part and that was a big deal.
What movie was that?
Oh, it was a Police Academy 4, which was
as a skateboarding guy.
As a skateboarder.
That's
and
awesome.
the reason I got that, I did not know how to act and I was blowing auditions. And then they said, I got there and they said, do you have the script? I said, oh, they didn't send it. And they go, oh, shoot, they were supposed to. We don't have one here, but you're already here. Should he go? And they go, well, if you were a skateboarder and the cops are coming around, can you just say some stuff? Aren't you a comedian? And I just start making up shit. And they go, yeah, let's use him.
That's perfect.
And if I would have had a script, I wouldn't know how to look at it. They would know right away. I don't know how to cold read. And I got lucky.
Exactly that feeling. It's like a joy when they're like, there's no script. Can you just improvise? Thank you so much.
Right.
When that movie came out, was your scene funny in it?
Not particularly, as my dad said. But I was in a movie, you know, and the movie didn't even do that well, but it was a chain of movies or whatever they call a series where the fourth one, and a franchise, I guess, back then. And it had been pretty watered down at that point. But Sharon Stone was in it, and she blew up after that. And so it was like a legit kind of movie. I was just window dressing, did a few lines here and there, and skateboarded. Tony Hawk was my stunt double.
But David, you were like 23 or something.
I was 21.
Wait.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk was your stunt double?
Yeah, another just super cool dude that I knew from skateboard magazines from Arizona. So all his Bones Brigade was my little gang I ran around with. So in the movie, so I got to see them, and then
I'll watch that now.
So the most legendary skateboarder of all time, the most iconic skateboarder of all time, was your stunt double in your first movie.
Right,
and you're 21,
and he wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, we were about the same age. He was probably a little younger. And
Jesus.
Chris Miller, another guy, Mike McGill, all the big skaters. So, but he was taller than me and he rode Goofy foot. No, I rode Goofy. He rode the different way. So we had 2 stunt doubles for me. Plus I could skate. And so they would just intercut. Anyway, boring. But
Jeez, I was a busboy at Holiday Inn at 21.
But then I got on that HBO thing, and then Marcy Klein and everyone at SNL saw that, and then but I came on as a writer, and I didn't really know I wasn't supposed to be a performer. So I was, as Lauren said the other day, Spade, I knew what we were doing with you. You were going to be on the bench for a while. Remember when he said that, Dana? I was like,
oh, he'd say, David's behind you. David's always ready. If anything happens, he's always, because David would sit behind me and read through at SNL. And he was always there. He's ready.
With my Dana voodoo doll.
He's ready to go whenever if you falter, he'll like take your place.
Meanwhile,
he didn't say that.
I know, but Dana's like a super comedian with impressions and plays every big person, and he's looking at me like, this guy doesn't scare me. I'm just like mumbling jokes.
You're always funny. But
it worked out.
Back to our guest.
Yeah, let's go back to him for a little bit.
And then we'll come back to you.
Honestly, I think that your lives are much more interesting than my lives. I have. So sorry, Spade. So I want to. How did you get the? I'm serious. Unless you guys have already talked about this on the podcast.
No, it's boring.
If you haven't talked about it, then I want to ask you: how did you get the? So you gotta do like 5 minutes on one of the young comedian specials.
Yeah, with other people.
And how did you get that? And who was on it with you? Because those are crazy lineups.
Rob Schneider was on it with me. We got plucked to audition off of that. You need some heat like that. We had management that had SNL people. We had I'm in the vicinity of it. They had Dana. I lived with Dana. I lived in a house.
Insert here. Dennis Miller and I were just kind of fledgling on SNL. I had done stand up with Rob Schneider for years. He was my opener. And then when I met David, before I got on SNL, so they were in the ether and they came in like frickin' frack. It was Rob Schneider, David Spade. They always were just a notch funnier than their peers at the time. And so they matriculated to SNL. Dennis and I recommended them, and then they auditioned well, and they ended up being legends.
Those 2 were a big help. And then I got on, but it took me a while to get on, which got me back to the fame thing. It was exciting, but it was infuriating and frustrating. But then came movies and stuff.
Stand up.
Yeah. Did not do that well. But like I was watching your monologue on SNL, which listen, and that was a tough crowd. No, I'm kidding. You did great. But I know you've gotten so much praise for it. I had to stop for 1 second.
Weird.
No, that wasn't even your fault.
I was jealous of it. I watched it today. I've hosted 3 times. I never had a monologue like that.
Yeah, you
that
fucking
was
rocked
that
it.
well formed.
What are you saying? What are your negatives you get from people when they try to fake compliment you?
Well, for me, it was with stand up. If you don't do well, you always say like, they were weird.
That's so great. Right when you get off, you think you killed, and you go fuck them. You go,
or they say to you, "How did you think it went?" That's a tell. How did you feel about it?
I always could tell if I had a good set or a bad set. If people said that was good, that was a bad set. If they said that was funny, that was a good set.
I love it.
And if they switch their compliment.
A compliment also, Dana, is when you say, if you don't like their act, but they do good, you go, you killed. You don't say anything. That's a polite way of saying you're hacky garbage.
I hate when they and I've said this before, when they switch out their compliment at the last second, like they're starting to say great and they switch to good. Oh, that was good. Fuck! Just go good. Don't switch.
The math in their head is, if I say great, he's going to know I'm lying. If I say good, maybe he'll buy it.
Well, can I ask you a question? Well, how did you deal? So you come to America, you go to college, you're going to try. How did you deal with the early bombs that we all have? How resilient were you? Or didn't you ever bomb?
I was very lucky in that the first time I did stand-up was on campus my senior year. I did a set my first semester of my final year, and then the second semester. And the first set I ever did in my life, I did 25 minutes. I had no idea that's not what you do.
That's crazy.
So I
that long?
Writing for a few months, and I tried all these jokes for 25 minutes in this coffee shop, and it was probably like 100 people crammed into a tiny room, and it was a bunch of my friends. And to this day, one of the best sets I've ever had.
That's what Dana always says. Dana says your first set sometimes is your best.
Using the very first, because you psychologically have a free pass. It's like when the quarterback gets hurt and the other guy comes in. Well, there's no pressure on me. I hope I do okay. So the first set, like, did they announce you as it's his first time doing stand up?
It was everybody's first time, except for the guy who had done it before. So it was all college kids, just a thing on campus. We all did 20, 25 minutes.
That's too much.
Dude, I wish I had a VHS of that. I have a picture from it. I'm wearing this huge sweater.
Comedy sweater. We all have
hilarious sweater.
You got to have a funny sweater.
I really, really, genuinely, objectively crushed. Like, I really sort of became right after that kind of a little bit famous on campus. They were like, wow, hey, you're that guy.
That means so much.
Suddenly, and then I did it again the second semester, and now people were like excited to see me. A bunch of other people had also performed on it, but they were like, oh, Kamal's going to go up again. And then the second time I killed again, not as hard as the first time, but still very, very good. And so after that, suddenly a little bit on campus, I was like one of the guys that people knew. And then I moved to Chicago, and I just looked up in the Reader, which was a local newspaper, just open mics. And I was very lucky, Dana, in that I did not have a bomb until maybe my 25th or 30th set. I didn't bomb for quite a long time, the first few months.
How was that? How'd it feel?
It felt kind of great. I think I would have needed that confidence because I was so insecure at that time that if I'd bombed the first time, I would have never done stand-up again. And if I bombed the fifth time, maybe I never would have done stand-up again, which is what's always impressive to me. You know, when you start doing open mics and you meet comedians and you hang out, and they've been doing it for a couple of years, and I'm like, you have never once done well. I am so impressed that you.
I know
that
tenacity. Yeah,
they just never once
you're not even funny at all.
No, you're not funny. Your inner fortitude is so fucking impressive to me. You should be like a soldier. What are you doing?
You should be in the
also
army.
Your bits aren't working.
No,
and you keep doing the bits.
Yeah,
it's like you got to call the herd.
They're like, there's something there, and you want to shake them and go, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. But you know, sometimes there are people that you see there's nothing there, and they're like those comedians that other comedians make fun of. That's what happened with Hannibal Buress. You guys know Hannibal?
Oh yeah.
He got funny overnight. He was not funny. He was one of the guys that we would be like, fucking Hannibal here again. And I remember a friend of mine called me and was like, have you seen Hannibal recently? And I was like, no. And they're like, he's funny now. I was like, what do you mean, Hannibal? Hannibal Buress is funny?
He cracked the code. He figured it out. I mean, maybe that's what it takes.
He didn't like slowly get funny. He was not funny and he was funny.
Jeez, it's like a Twilight Zone.
That's so great.
And the first time I would say I bombed, I did a guest set at Zanies. You guys know Zanies in Chicago?
Yeah.
It was me, John Roy, who's a very funny comedian, also from Chicago. I don't know if you guys know him. And then I forget who the headliner was. But that was my first time I didn't do well. And it really it was an awful feeling because I didn't understand what happened. I was like, these are the same jokes. These jokes do well. And that set, I had like a 10-minute set. And I was like, I'm going to start strong, end strong. And then you have the bits in the middle that are not quite as strong. Well, my first joke didn't do that well. So then I pulled my closer up, which didn't do well. So now I'm out there. I got 6 minutes still left and all my B jokes. And that's it.
Yeah. That's so funny when you scramble like that and you get spooked like a horse and you start going, what is going on here? And you jump ahead, mixing up your jokes. And then you go, wait, did I even do this one? Because now it's out of order. Chris Rock used to go, Spade, tonight, just to shake it up, open with your closer. I go, shut the fuck up. I'm not opening with my closer.
That's a Louis C.K. trick. You know, you play around with it. Then he goes, try to bomb.
Yeah, and then he goes, then, where are you? What are you going to do? Where are you headed? I go, fuck, don't scare me, dude. I've been doing this too long. I don't do that shit. This is too risky.
I don't want to put myself in a position like that. Why would I do that?
I want to what I do is I pack it with jokes at work and then put one new one in the middle and then fucking baby it after that with stuff. Hopefully they'll get me out of that hole if it doesn't work.
Exactly. I mean, that's how I would always like the way I planned my set was always, I really put a lot of thought into it. Some people don't do that. Some people just go up and like, I'll do whatever I feel like doing. Later, once I got, I would say, really experienced with stand-up and started feeling really confident. When I moved to New York, there were a couple of years in New York where I was really feeling at the top of my game. Then the challenge to myself was, how long can I be up there without doing a joke at all? So that was the challenge
Ooh, just off the top of your head, was it crowd work or just you're making up stuff?
Making up stuff, sometimes crowd work, whatever it was. I was like, the goal is to go up there, and when I step on stage, have no idea what the first words out of my mouth.
Wow, it is terrifying.
I like that. That's my favorite.
I've done it, but I will go, or I'll have like two new things and go, I'm gonna open with these two, get a feel for the crowd, and then just go into my act. But I just am so sick of my act. I will have to start with a couple new bits. And sometimes you stumble into a winner.
Well, for me, the good thing was if I'm doing well, just riffing, I'm like, wait till they get a load of the shit I've been writing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if it's not going well, no problem. I haven't done any of my jokes yet. For me, I think the fear was, what if I do my first joke and it doesn't do well? Where do I go? So that for me was what made me comfortable and safe on stage, was not doing any jokes for as long as I could go without doing any jokes.
Yeah. I still don't have any jokes. I can't write a joke. I mean, I have like 3 jokes. I love them, but I just can't come up with jokes. Like jokes. It's all rhythm and all attitude.
But you're such a funny person. You do jokes and then you do impressions. With every impression you have is woven in with jokes. So it's a combo hit. It's like, it sounds like somebody and you're saying something funny.
Man, Mega T, that's a joke.
Oh, okay. Oh, you saw that? Jeez, I'm going to cry.
Of course I did.
That's a pretty good bit about the frustration of parenting in that style of parenting it was like as if a little kid's like a 100-year-old man you have to take care of or something like that.
Yeah.
You better buy me a toy or I'm going to be sad.
Yeah. And how like the resell action figures with just a little bit slight change, the name
slightly different crook, and he's saying, that's not the right doll. It has a slightly different figure. We're halfway through.
And I want to say that Emily and I rewatched that not too long ago because she's such a huge fan of that stuff.
I love her.
She, I met a comedy nerd that that's how we fell in love. She like used to record SNL. She didn't have a VCR, so she would record it on an audio tape, and she would just listen to the audio of SNL sketches. Like, when she was a kid.
Is she 100? No, how old is she?
When did you get together? 2007 or when did you?
2006. That's right.
Okay, so basically, you have a pre-fame, pre-money for you wife.
Yes, and when we first moved to New York,
nice.
we did meet at a comedy show, and I was like, Chicago famous at the time, which really famous. But I was good enough on stage. I was like killing on stage enough that, if I did a show, she was at the show, I was feeling pretty good about my chances. But no money, lived like, I had a mattress on the floor. It was, and then when we moved to New York,
solid gold mattress.
David had a lot of mattresses.
What does that mean?
Well, before you made it, remember the story in New York? You just bring the mattress back to LA.
When I lived in New York, Lauren wouldn't pick us up in the summer and he would make us wait. And so you'd have to literally get out of your whole apartment and move back to LA. And then a month later, they go, hey, we can't get a hold of him. He's in Amagansett. He'll decide in another month. I'm like, they don't have any phones. No one can find him. Yeah. So if I got picked up,
you'd have to move it back.
I'd have to move all again. And there wasn't Uber or delivery. So I'd drag a mattress up some stairs.
I felt so confident. I had an interior decorator after the first season.
God damn you, asshole.
I'm going to be here for a while. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, dude, Dana, you were like a hit right from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Well, the church lady was on the first show.
Wow. I can't imagine that. You're like, suddenly one day you're just a person and the next day you're like famous in the country.
Before I went out
I'm
there
mad about
because
it too.
I'd never done sketch comedy. I was so nervous
Never
that
done sketch comedy. Look at this guy.
I'd never done sketch comedy, but I was a sketch comedy person by heart, but doing stand-up. So I did
Yeah.
Church Lady as part of my stand-up. But I was so fucking nervous the first show that I was just swearing at myself in the mirror. Fuck, you know. And then afterwards, I was so emotional how well it went that I was just basically tearing up quite a bit.
Can I
in my
ask
dressing
you?
room.
You're
It was a big ride.
Obviously, you're obviously very nervous. You're doing this thing, and you go to dress, and it kills at dress.
Church Lady was the final sketch at dress. As you know, that's the graveyard spot. Like, this
Right.
isn't probably going to
It's a
work.
2-hour dress. It's
Then
they're
it
burned out.
kills, and it's moved up to the first sketch
And so
for
once
the
it
air
kills,
show.
I'm sorry. I just want to know every step of how you're like negotiating this. You go out. Are you nervous at dress? You're very nervous at dress. This is going to get.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And at what point do you get your first laugh and you feel like, okay, wow, this is something? Or do you not feel that relief
No,
at the end of
there
this?
was an exact moment because I'm out there with Victoria Jackson. I'm very scared and I'm doing the interrogating thing. And, well, we don't do that. Well, Church Lady, I did this and we didn't do that. And she goes, yeah, but I did this. And then I said, well, isn't that special? Huge laugh.
Wow. So
Already.
you,
Wow,
somehow
before they
know
even
it's
knew
a
it.
catchphrase already.
But
Yeah.
until I landed that, I was just wanting to articulate, just please don't blow it, you know? And then once I landed that, I connected to the 10,000 hours in the clubs. It was like, oh, I'm off to the races.
Did you know did you know this is the big line I got to land? Or were you surprised that at the reaction it got?
I had done it in the clubs, and it evolved from an improv. It's the ultimate patronizing put down when someone's being sincere.
Yes.
And it did become a catchphrase. I had it in the clubs, and the Church Lady would work in the clubs. It was me interviewing myself or dealing with hecklers. We don't quite know what to say, do we? You know, that thing. I knew that attitude worked, but I'd never done it with the dress and never done it. So it was out of body. I don't know if you've had experiences like that, maybe getting nominated for an Academy Award for the screenplay or getting cast on Silicon Valley. Let's go back to when you were shocked and amazed at your success. Was there any moment, or was it just gradual? When did you start getting recognized?
Was Silicon
nationally?
Valley your first national thing that people knew you from?
No, the first thing I would say that I did a sketch on Portlandia, season 1 of Portlandia.
Love that show. Fred
yeah.
Armisen.
Fred Armisen, Carrie Brownstein, very, very funny
Great.
people.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'd ever done on TV actually was I had 2 lines on SNL.
I read that.
Do
Yes.
tell.
They needed a brown guy, and I was doing stuff in New York.
Sorry.
They did. I mean, they
Casting
still do,
breakdown.
You know?
They still do.
They still do.
They got plenty of this flavor.
I was doing well in New York, and one of the writers for SNL emailed me and was like, hey, we need someone to just come in and do 3 lines for this sketch. And I said, yes, of course.
Fuck yeah.
Under 5, so I hang out with the extras all day. You know, we hang out in the theater that Conan was taping in at the time. And I have 3 lines, and at dress, it's an episode with James Franco, and it's James Franco and Sudeikis are at the, they're at the dais, and we're a bunch of reporters asking questions. It's a press conference, and Sudeikis messed up his line.
Oh
And
no.
it threw me so much in dress that I messed up my line. I just didn't know. I just literally just stumbled my words. So then suddenly when I get the script for the
Oh no.
for air, now I have 2 lines instead of 3 lines. And I remember it was really cool. We're starting the sketch. I don't know Sudeikis at all. He's there while we're about to do the live one, and he looks at me and he says, I'm sorry. He apologized to me.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
meant a lot to me. I remember Will Forte was really, really cool to me. He understood this guy's never been on TV. He's got 2 lines live. So he went out of his way to be kind to me. And I've told him that, and he doesn't remember it. I was like, that's great.
Sounds exactly like him.
Yeah, cool
Daryl
dude.
Hammond was very nice to me.
Very
So
sweet.
remember,
Yeah.
By the way, it's hard to do that when you're in the heat of a show and you're a cast member, to think enough to go out of the way because you're so in your own head, terrified yourself, you know?
Yeah, and I remember Kristen Wiig, when we were rehearsing, laughed really hard at me and said that was really funny. So I feel like maybe they could tell, oh, this is another performer. This is a very big deal for him. I was just touched that they all went out of their way to make me feel confident and comfortable and welcome.
I like this story. He's like, then Lauren came out and they sang For He's the Jolly Good Fellow and they carried me around.
Yeah, that's right. And then Lauren, for some reason, blacklisted me from Hollywood.
So basically, like, why don't we jump to because you go through Silicon Valley, which
but the thing that people really knew me from was Portlandia. I did a sketch with them.
So that was your first thing. Yeah,
that was my first thing, and that was an improvised sketch. We improvised for like 2 hours, and they cut it down. John Kreisel, the director, into a 4-minute sketch, 3-minute sketch, and it came out really funny. Fred's really funny, Carrie's really funny, and it just came out really funny. And that show, the first season, was kind of like a cool hit.
Yeah.
And that, every job I've had since then to this day comes from that one sketch.
Oh, nice.
And so every little thing, every audition, everything comes from that. So then with Silicon Valley, and then I was another show on TNT called Franklin and Bash with Breckenmeyer and Mark Paul.
Hilarious reference.
Franklin and Bash.
But I'm on the show.
I love the name.
I know, but Dennis Miller used to go, what are you on, fucking Franklin and Bash this week?
Well, it's such a great
It's exactly
Turner and Hooch, huh?
Yeah, it's like a Turner and Hooch type of show. It's funny.
It's just a funny
name. But that was like a Rizzoli. that beats it. The Rizzoli and Isles is fucking
we were
hilarious.
on the same time as Rizzoli and Isles. Much worse numbers. This is all true. This is all true. So I was on that show for like 2 years, and it was, it was funny. It was a fun show. I had a fun part, but I was like, I got to be on a comedy. I didn't have a job. So I went to the creators and I was like, guys, can you like write me out of this show? They're like, did you get another job? I said, no, I just need to bet on myself. And I really want to be on a show that's a comedy.
They said, this is a comedy. And you go, ooh.
Yeah. It was a comedy. I just was like, I want to be on a sitcom, guys. I want to be on a sitcom. So they said, okay, do one more season for us. But in the meantime, you can go audition, do whatever you want.
That's nice.
We'll just do one more season for us.
Cool.
We'll let you out of the contract. And I said, thank you. And the first audition I did after season 2 was Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And
there we go.
I get a call from my agents. They're like, Mike Judge has a new show. And, I grew up on Beavis and Butthead. I Office Space is
loved it. Yeah.
Mike Judge, a quiet genius.
Quiet,
he's brilliant.
Genius.
Yeah.
And so I go and I audition for Mike, and they give me 2 different characters to audition for. So I'm just excited to meet Mike. He's a truly, genuinely a hero of mine. Beavis and Butthead. I don't mean this I truly mean this.
I love those characters. I told them they're much funnier than Wayne and Garth. I don't know if you believe me, but
By the way,
I love Beavis and Butthead.
There's a new season on Paramount Plus, Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
Just as good as the original stuff. So I go in and audition for Mike, and I do these 2 parts, and I had a good audition. I could tell they were laughing and stuff. I was like, okay, that was. I feel good about that audition. I get a call from one of the other creators, not Mike. They say, we really like you. We don't think you're right for either of the parts. And I'm like, fuck. But we're going to write a part for you.
Oh.
And I said,
that's sweet.
I said, thank you. But people say that all the time. They're like, you're not right for this. We'll find something. And it never happens. And then they're like, okay, we want you to come and do the network test for it. And I was out of town. I couldn't do it. I was doing a pilot that never went that I didn't like doing. So I couldn't test. I was like, fuck, it's over. Luckily, I'd done a part. Sorry, this is all confusing. I'd done one episode of Veep season 2 that I'd auditioned for with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And that part turned out funny. I ended up having like one funny moment in that episode. So HBO knew me. And so I flew back from Miami. I was like, fuck, I couldn't test. That's too bad. I landed and I got a call. And when you get those calls where like all your agents and managers are on the phone.
Yeah.
Meeting.
It's usually good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually good. They're all calling me. And
Remember
I've never
us?
met them since the signing meeting,
Yeah.
They're all on it. I land and I have a voicemail. They're like, hey, this is, John, Mel, Molly, Jimmy, Michael, everybody's there. I
The
call
10
back,
percenters.
and
Yeah.
they're like, you have an offer to be on Silicon Valley.
You got an offer with no audition.
I just did the one audition. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Everybody
didn't
else
get the
had to
part.
do the studio and the network.
Right.
I didn't have to do that because they wrote
So
parts for me.
lucky. Wow.
And just we did the pilot, and I just the entire time was pinching myself because I got to work with all these funny people, with Mike Judge. We did the pilot, and we didn't find out for a long time, like 6 or 7 months, if the show was going to get picked up. And then it got picked up, and we ended up reshooting most of the pilot.
And the style of Portlandia and that, you have a very, how would you describe your acting style? Because it's subtle
Yeah.
and
Just describe it
it's
and I'll tell
very
you if you're wrong.
natural. David wanted to know. I said, let's let him describe it. Okay.
Well, I can't describe it, but I will say John Altshuler, who is one of the creators of Silicon Valley, gave me the biggest compliment I think I've ever received. He said, and this is going to sound bad, but it's a compliment. He said, you can do a joke and make it not sound like you're doing a joke. And I was
yes.
It's hard to do. Yeah.
I was like, that is a really wonderful thing to hear, especially with stand-ups. Sometimes you see them acting and you can see they're trying to nail a joke. And to me, the key is you got to hide it's a joke. You got to get the laugh. You have to get the laugh.
Right.
But it can't sound like you're like delivering a punchline.
But if it's the tone, like you're on shows that are interesting, Veep, and your show are great.
Very
throwaway
conversational.
for my sense of humor, for probably yours, Dana. And if you're on a sitcom, you might have to blast it out a little bit, and that's tougher because it might not be your style or what you like at all. But there are different tones of different comedies. But that kind of comedy is obviously my favorite. And
but
just
you're also very good at it. And when you were on Just Shoot Me, you did a really good job of bringing that character to yourself. So it really felt like you were yourself the entire time. And the way you were doing jokes was the way you do jokes. It didn't feel like you were like performing outside of outside of something that felt very natural to you.
Right, like a super character. Yeah, it was more meeting with them ahead of time and talking, this is kind of what I do and this is kind of what they want, and then tailoring it, letting you add jokes on the last take or say, do whatever you want here. Or sometimes they would just say, and then Spade says something funny. And so you go to rehearsal. Yeah, they were great about it. And it's funny is what you said at the very beginning about Dane as a nice guy. George Siegel used to say, the biggest question I get is David Spade as big of a prick as he seems like?
Because you were playing a snarky character.
I was, and I've tried even toned down even that kind of. I thought it was subtle then. I think it's got to be subtler now because I did. You're going for laughs, and it is a sitcom, and you have a studio audience, but you have to inch it up a little bit. But I did like that kind of humor, and all the shows I gravitate. Just watching your monologue, even on SNL, and then you were doing the sketches. They were playing you. They did you justice because you are doing a lot of stuff that's throwaway.
Chill, super conversational, and then the subversion comes, or the twist, and it's so in rhythm with what you were just saying. It's very, very effective and not easy to do. You guys could do a sitcom.
Yeah. I would love to do a sitcom with you guys. Either
yeah. This next couple months are really tough for me though right now. Okay. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Me too.
By the way, listen. We look at Dana. Here's what he said in Vanity Fair, which I thought was an interesting quote. You said,
"Our guest."
And by the way, no, we will be doing a sitcom. I was kidding. You said, I like. You being a comedian makes you a better actor. Being an actor makes you a better writer. And then you're a better comedian than you were, and then you're being a producer, director, all that stuff. It all is very entwined. I think that's what you meant. It's great. I think it is really true. And it's good. You got your hands in different things and you see different things. And then you go, oh, I'm on that side. Oh, I'm on this,
Yeah. I remember, shooting a sketch that I wrote on SNL. I wrote on SNL.
Oh, you wrote? Wow.
For 1 week. And then they asked me to finish out the season, and I realized I was like, sketch is not my strength. My brain doesn't work like this. And
It's a different animal for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and my brain has never worked like that. I still can't write sketch, And I used to be like, I have friends like Nick Kroll. I'm like, wow, this guy can really do sketch. And it would bug me that I couldn't do it. And now I'm like, you know what? I have my strengths. They don't include sketch. So I wrote that for 1 week, and we, being part of shooting a sketch and editing the sketch was I understood like, okay, you can do certain riffs. It was a taped sketch, pre-tape. You could do certain riffs that are going to make the crew laugh and the cameraman laugh, and everyone's going to laugh, but those riffs are never going to make it into the show. And so doing the editing and being involved with the editing in a lot of the projects that makes me realize like, okay, improvising is good. However, if you're just going off the reservation, it's never going to be used. It's just going to make those people laugh. And ultimately, it's kind of a waste of time. And that's something I learned on the Silicon Valley too. I remember we were doing this scene that was really, really funny. We were all riffing, and Alec Berg, one of the showrunners, came up to us and said, listen, all of this is really funny. We're having a great time. However, this scene is about these 3 things. This person finds out this information. This person goes from here to here. The audience hears this. You can riff, but if they don't advance one of those 3 things, it's not going to be in the show. Yeah. And to me, that like really connected everything. I was like, oh, wow. It's not just about being funny.
We're just being funny here. Yeah. And it's not helping.
About furthering the point of the scene while being funny. And so all that, I think everything makes you better at everything else.
And that's how you ended up writing The Big Sick and getting an Academy Award nomination. So you took all that experience and then your real life experience. For people who don't know, you wrote this incredibly successful, I don't know what you would call its genre is, a romantic comedy, basically.
Emily
with
and
drama. Yeah,
we
wife.
wrote this movie together, but I will say that Judd Apatow and Barry Mendel, one of the other producers, Judd really taught us how to write. He really carried us through that entire process.
You're doing it all wrong. Here, come here.
Hi, let me tell you. I'm Judd Apatow.
Let me see your laptop.
I don't know if this sounds like Judd Apatow, but I'm just, this is a substitute impression.
No, you've done pretty well. I just got to punch up a couple of things.
That doesn't sound like Judd Apatow. None of this does.
Just sounds funny though.
It sounds like a funny character.
Hey, Spade.
That's why I do 10 minutes of this at the improv.
Both of you have certain different aspects of Judd in that. If you could combine them, I think you'd get Judd.
No, we've had Judd on this show, and he is very, very, very smart, very clever about writing, about what makes
he knows
a hit,
what he's doing,
and producing. He's the guy you want to call if you want to get something made.
I saw your trailer. I have to say, I did not see the movie, and I'll take that part out later. But I did not see the movie.
You're making me sick.
When I watched the trailer, it's such a great trailer because first of all, I got teared up. Second of all, Ray Romano, who I work with a lot, is great. Just in the trailer, your first joke is funny. You're with the girl in bed. She says, I never have sex twice on the first date. Yeah. Is that her joke? Yeah. And that was funny. Yeah. So it's off right away with a winner. By the time Ray comes in and Holly Hunter, you have no skills. That's from broadcast news. You have no schooling. Yeah. She and Ray's doing these dry things to you, and it's awkward. I just thought, oh shit, that's very well done. And then that big twist of what happens to the girl you're seeing. Anyway, it's very well done. My first movie would not be anything that good. I mean, that's to write that shit.
Well done because we had Judd really carrying us through, and because of Judd, we were able to get a really good cast. So like Holly Hunter, Zoe Kazan, who plays Emily, in the movie was the first person we cast, and we auditioned a lot of people and a lot of great people. And a lot of like people who are very, very famous and were very, very famous then. And out of everyone, Zoe was just the best. And once we had that, Judd was like, okay, now we know who she is. Now we know what her parents can be like.
Mhm.
And he was like, I think it should be Holly Hunter. And we were like, good luck. And he's
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
I think she'll do it. So we had a lot of conversations with Holly. And once we had Holly, Judd was like, that's when Judd sprung Ray Romano. He was like, I think Ray would be really good. And I was a huge fan of his sitcom and his stand-up. And I just never seen him do anything that wasn't hard comedy, But Ray really brought what Ray has inherently in everything he does is this like sadness at his core. Like he's sort of a sad sack kind of.
He's a sensitive guy.
He's a
definitely.
sensitive guy. That's what I mean. He's like sort of sensitive. There's something like appealingly wounded about him. And he's so good in this movie. David, if you find yourself when you watch the movie, you'll see Ray and Holly really bring so much to it. Holly, it's not, Holly's done so much fantastic work in acting. With Ray, the dramatic work he does in the movie, it's
it's more surprising because it's just I work with Ray and I know a lot of stuff he does, and he nothing was wrong, everything was real, everything was good. I'm just saying the trailer, and I'm like, fuck, this movie's so interesting. So, and you pepper it out so it's you're hooked already, and Holly Hunter, of course, you can't go wrong.
Successful movie, you had a sensibility, and you never winked, you never stepped outside of it, you never were gratuitous.
That's the key.
And you just stayed in that world.
Yeah, because if there's a woman, there's a lot of funny jokes you can make, but if there's a woman in a coma, there's a ceiling to the type of jokes you can make. You can't go, because then that kills the reality level. The entire time you have to feel like all these people have a loved one who's very, very sick right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can make certain kinds of jokes, but if they go past a certain line, it's heartless and it kills the whole movie.
Yeah. Did Judd make you change the name from Coma Lady?
Yeah, that was the working title with Coma Lady. And then
Sounds hilarious.
Maybe it's too much of a spoiler. You don't want to do that. So we did that, and that happened, I've been doing, I think that was season 3 of Silicon Valley. In between seasons 3 and 4, I did that. And that was cool because Silicon Valley was a very successful show. But then Big Sick was getting to do another kind of thing.
Next level.
I think that's when your name just became just way more familiar to a lot of Americans, when those two things came together. I think, did you feel like it to you? Like,
yes.
You've arrived. I mean,
Well, the weird thing, I'm sure you guys have had this experience. You fight for me, it was years of fighting for roles, tiny roles. I had the 2 years where I had a small, one funny scene in a big comedy. I did that for a couple of years, so there's like 6 or 7 movies. You watch them, I pop up for a scene, I deliver food, I'm funny for 2 minutes, and then I walk away. Big Sick changed the kinds of opportunities I get.
Sure.
Overnight. Suddenly I became one of the people who I became one of the new comedy actors, So suddenly that's soon as the Big Sick comes out, I start getting scripts. I start getting more opportunities.
People say that, but it's really hard to get to a point where you actually get scripts and get scripts that are like greenlit. Like if you do it, we'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other thing that, this new show that I have coming out, Welcome to Chippendales, on Hulu, November 22nd. It's the first time I've had a real situation. Getting Big Sick made was a struggle. We had to really put a cast together and and all that. And it was only $5 million. Welcome to Chippendales was the first time I've had in my career where they were like, if you do this, if you attach yourself, we're going to make this show. I've never had that.
How cool.
And it's the guy who started Chippendales, the gentleman who started Chippendales, and there's nefarious stuff around him. So it's a pretty,
people don't know this. So Chippendales, the male stripping thing, there's obviously a very, very funny, memorable SNL sketch about it with
Chris Farley.
I didn't even think of that. That's the first time I haven't thought of that when I heard Chippendales.
Yeah.
I just think of hot guys.
Yeah. Patrick Swayze, hot guys. Speaking of hot
Stud. Crushed it. So with Chippendales, it's like, you're talking about the guy that actually started it. This is
the guy who started it was this Indian immigrant who was this like sort of fat, nerdy Indian immigrant, he started Chippendales, and the story itself is wild. There's people don't know this. There's murder and stuff involved. The first like few years of Chippendale, it's really a lot of nefarious stuff that happens in it. It's really, really crazy, intense stuff that happens in it. Multiple people get murdered. This dude was setting fire to other like male strip clubs were popping up that were copying Chippendales. He started setting fire to them, and he got away with this stuff for years and years and years. And so this story is a really, really, I couldn't believe it. So much, like 20 crazy things happen in it that are unbelievable.
Is it like a series or a straight movie?
It's just 8 episodes. It's a short series, 8 episodes. November 22nd, we come out with 2 episodes. The cast is amazing. It's Murray Bartlett, who just won an Emmy for White Lotus. Juliette Lewis is in it. And the Ashford, who's really, really wonderful.
From Ashford and Simpson?
Yeah.
No, that's a different one.
So can we touch on, I mean, you, between these two, you hosted SNL and then The Eternals.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably like a sore spot. People go, hey, he got so muscular. You know, is that like just a dead horse at this point when you hear that?
Well, no, because it is weird to sort of, what it helped me do, and it really did, and I think you guys probably relate to this at some level.
Yeah, I mean, I relate, as you can see.
I was tired of being known as the most strongest comic.
I have Spade is scrappy.
I'll fight because when I fight, all I'm going to think is my dad left me as a kid, and all the anger is going to come out. So someone's going to get it, all of
You
it
have
together.
nothing to lose when
So
you
nothing to lose.
Come on, what was that? What was your mental state about that? Right, about that becoming a different physical person.
What it helped me do was when you're a comedy actor in this business, it's very easy to be put in a box, you know? So all the stuff I did, I was sort of like the funny, nerdy guy, you know? And what that allowed me to do was break out of that. I don't mean necessarily become an action star or anything. It just had people who give you jobs see me as not just a nerd. So the actual opportunities I started getting from that were not specifically action opportunities. I started getting opportunities to play like normal, non-nerdy people.
Just different. Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But the actual biggest jump there was Big Sick, and then Eternals is such a jump. But once you get an offer like that or someone sees you like that, obviously you probably said, I'm going to do my best. And I'm going to make sure they didn't make a mistake. I'm going to work out. I'm going to look the part. But what a huge, flattering opportunity to be in a movie like that.
A Marvel. I'd like to be in one. If they're listening, I'll play a character. I don't know if I could jack up. But what I'm interested is, because then you do this and it helps you get out of typecasting.
Yeah.
But then you're still walking around as that. Because I lifted weights a little bit, you know. I did push-ups yesterday. I mean, I do things. But if you get to a low body fat and a high lean mass, then you're going to walk around different and your libido is going to go way up, because any kind of little fat around the middle, you know, is not an inert thing in your body. It affects your hormones. So I'm just curious about you as a person, that transition to that kind of fitness, just walking around that powerful. How are you feeling about it? It's like, it must be fun.
It's a very good question. I don't feel any different in terms of how I think of myself. I don't feel that I am a different person at all. I do feel on a base level stronger. You know, bags are less heavy. If I do groceries, it's not as hard. The libido thing is very real. It's suddenly, it shifts. You know, the way my wife, she's always loved me, but the way she talks about my body now is different.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
She went from like to love. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
She finally said, "I love you."
That's great.
Well, Maria Shriver used to say that when she would get in bed, she would get in bed, Arnold would get in bed, and then his body was there. It was like a threesome.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's come on, it's you and wife, and then washboard abs. I mean, I guess women like touching them. I don't know. I've never had that problem.
She said initially it was so funny. she said when I first got in shape and we would have sex, she was like, it kind of feels like fucking the corner of a building.
I've heard that.
It's still, everything is like hard.
Yeah.
But every now and then, still, if I like take my shirt off, she'll just be like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
She knows me a certain way. And so to see me look different, it's still surprising to her.
It's so interesting because, we're talking today and you're the exact same person. It's just interesting to be married to someone who does a physical transformation like that. So you're looking at a different person.
Yes.
And I guess it's a real turn on. I'm not saying I'm going to get like you are, but I'm going to double down.
Well, Emily, seeing me and doing this about a year and a half ago, started weight training herself, and it's completely changed her body and how she feels about her body. Like she's got like muscles now, she's got biceps and stuff. It's really interesting. And she sees what I get out of it. I get a lot out of just the process of working out specifically.
Yeah.
It's helped me with my anxiety. Obviously, we're comics. I assume we all have anxiety. For me, anxiety is something that always requires management. Working out helps with that. I sleep.
Incredible. Yeah.
Sleep better?
Yeah. So sleeping has always been an issue for me, and now I sleep better. Obviously, it's still hard sometimes. I didn't sleep well last night, but
hard to shut your mind off kind of thing.
Yeah, you look like shit.
lay in bed, you think about all the things that could have been and all these things you're going to fuck up in the future.
All the regrets.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, I think we have to let him go because...
we have another one coming up.
No, he's being very cool.
You guys are so great. I'm such a fan of both of you, and this was such a thrill for me to do. Thank you for having me on.
It was an absolute pleasure. I just enjoyed it as a conversation, and the way it bounced around was great.
Honest, authentic, down-to-earth dude. I think it's very fun talking to you. I don't know you at all. It's great to sit here, and this is a great hour with you, and we really appreciate it. It's going to be, people are going to love to hear from you. They heard from you part of it, right? It was mostly me and Dana, but it's
no. But I think that's. I'm sorry. I'm just a fan, so that was really interesting to me. So thank you for sharing those stories as well.
Well, we love people asking us questions because we're fundamentally flawed. I mean, for interviewers, we both have narcissistic tendencies. So when you started saying, "Hey, Dana, what about this?" My brain lit up. I got an endorphin rush. No,
it's more like dinner. We all just talk, and everyone talks. It's not just a hard interview. It's not 60 minutes. It's.
But I think our view, people who don't know you or they know about you, this will be a fun conversation for them to listen to.
For sure.
Especially ending on the high libido thing. Two people are in their 40s, really fit, having a lot of sex.
Talking about their wives fucking sides of buildings.
I want some. My wife said, I feel like I'm fucking a delicatessen. I'm like, how?
Deli meat section?
Yeah.
No, she listens to this podcast. She'll be laughing.
All right.
Sorry,
thanks,
honey.
guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Talk to you later, bro.
Awkward. Leave.
Hey, what's up, flies? What's up, fleas? What's up, people that listen? We want to hear from you and your dumb questions.
Questions, ask us anything. Anything you want.
You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com.
Oh, we have questions.
Joseph.
Okay.
I like when he calls.
My nickname now from Joseph Botino.
Botino.
Botino. I'm going to think it's Botino.
It says Hans and Spudley.
So I'm Hans and Franz, and you're Spudley from
Dennis Miller. Spudley.
Okay,
I heard a rumor that Lorne insisted. This is a good question. Lorne insisted that his movie posters be set against a background of blue sky and white clouds. Never would have thought of that in a million years. Tommy Boy, Black Sheep, both Wayne's World, Coneheads, Ladies Man, Superstar.
Huh.
All do this. Is it true? I guess it's true if you just said it. And did he explain himself? I would never think that.
Never put that together, Joseph.
It must be some sort of testing that says that makes you happy.
It's a psychological thing for the audience that the box office will go sky high. And so you have a sky background. That's all I could think of. I'm still not sure this is true. Joseph, is this a trick question?
Let's look at a clip.
Let's call Lorne.
Hello?
Yes.
Who's this?
Guys, we varied the clouds.
Dana,
You
you're
wouldn't know.
cutting out. This better be important. Lauren, yes, it's about Coneheads. What?
I'm putting on a show this week. Yeah, but we need to know about the background of Ladies Man and Superstar. I'm going to hang up now. But I love you both.
No, I'm going to put Marcy on.
I'll come on the podcast soon again.
Marcy, he's got some question.
So are we answering Joseph Patino's question?
That he already knows
Spudley?
the answer to. He's asking if
Is
Lauren
it true?
ever explained this. No, he didn't, but I like this. I think it's a very interesting observation because it might be true. It seems to have helped because I've heard of all those movies, so that means something worked, right?
Yeah, I have no opinion. I don't know if Lauren did it. I don't know if the posters look like that.
There's some method to the madness. They have to do that for a
You know how
reason.
the word trick goes with questions? It's a trick question.
You know, when we were in, this is the last thing, we were in read through in Schneider. If you go, and a garbage man comes into the scene, played by Ken Among, and everyone laughs, and Schneider goes, trick, laugh. That's not a real laugh. That won't get a laugh on the show. Don't count it.
Well, he has to call it out because
you know
it's
what I
not
mean?
the audience wouldn't know who Kenny
Right,
Among
it's a
is.
read-through trick that we say some
Trick
inside
question.
joke, and then it gets a big laugh, and he goes, make sure you negate like, don't count on that on the show.
That won't get a laugh.
It's furious. Flips over his pizza. One slice. Flip. All right, that's it. Thank you for the question, and keep them coming. This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast. No joke, folks.
Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13, executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.